The concerns of Police Survivors Truck Series takes on the Milwaukee Mile and the ServPro 150 presented by Nazara Racing. Hello, my name is William Tiller. I am joined by the boss man himself, Brady LaBeouf, and Adam Flieger with Jake Reeves joining us later. Coming off the heels of an exciting finish at New Hampshire, which saw the animal chow down on some lobster, tonight these drivers take on one of the oldest tracks in the circuit, built in 1876. Brady, tell us about this historic track and what we should expect in tonight's race.
Well, thank you, Will, and I'm glad that I can fill in for the time while Jacob finishes up. But yeah, I mean, this is the first time ever Nazara has decided to go to Milwaukee Mile. It's been a topic of discussion. We don't never really think to go here because it kind of drives like New Hampshire and other places. It's same size as Dover, and we typically rotate those tracks. So it was a popular demand for us to go here. So you're going to actually see this race tonight in this series, and also coming up in a couple of weeks on Mondays for the SimRacerHub.com series. So we're excited to be here, and it should put on a great race.
Absolutely. And a track that's virtually flat with turns only having 9 degrees of banking and straights only 2.5 degrees. This was originally a horse track. It was only paved 69 years ago in 1954. Tonight's details, though, for the ServPro 150, we're looking at 30 laps in stage number 1. Stage 2 will be 75. Total laps will be 150 with 5 sets of tires and 100% fuel capacity. Remember, here in Nazara, there are no fast repairs. There are going to be some penalties served before we start this race off. A few drivers will have no qualifying, including Huck Whittington, Michael McKinnon, Jonathan Munda, also Stephen Thomas, Ed Osborne, Dana Shepard, Jeff Murick, Taylor Peacock, Phil Pappas, Eric Zimmerman, and Sean Hamilton will not be able to qualify coming off penalties from New Hampshire. Let's talk about Michael McKinnon. There is some hardware to hang out before we drop that green flag. He is our Hard Luck Award winner from last week. Of course, that is sponsored by Flieger Farm Paint Shop. Do you want a personal experience designing your race car? Would you like to take the stress out of figuring who can do the best work? Well, contact Flieger Farm Paint Shop, started in 2020. First wraps are free. You heard that right, free, sponsoring many charity races across the iRacing platform. And now our Hard Luck Award winner, Flieger Farm Paints, will make you feel lucky you chose them. Contact Adam at Flieger Farm Paints on Facebook today and ask about your free paint scheme. And, Brady, last week's Hard Luck Award winner was Keith Bradley. He went on to win that race. I feel like the 13 is going to have some of that same luck here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And, typically when we go to tracks like this, Michael McKinnon tends to, run some laps. He gets familiar with them, the new tracks that we come to. So I wouldn't be surprised as you see him right there sitting third right now during qualifying. But, yeah. I mean, Michael, he's gonna do good at these technical tracks. He puts in a lot of time, so he should get a good result tonight. It's unfortunate that he received the award because that means that he was having a great run last week, and he just came up short. He was caught up in a wreck and everything. So hopefully he can bounce back and have a good finish.
Absolutely, and as we're watching qualifying take place here at the Milwaukee Mile, and one thing that stood out here in the concerns of Police Survivors Truck Series, Brady, is we've had a different winner every single week of the season, dating back all the way to the qualifier race with Jeff Murick winning. We had Chris Cinnamon win the Clash at Auto Club. Blake Lothian won dual race number 1. Dual race number 2 went to Joey Doucette. Week number 1 officially at Daytona was won by Jason Morales. Week number 2, Joey Doucette. Week 3, Keith Bradley. So we've had a different winner every single week of the season. Do you feel like we're going to have the same here tonight?
Oh, no doubt. We were just discussing on the podcast last night, if y'all tune in the hot lap, me and Tyler were talking about how Monday series, 10 races, 9 different winners. We've already seen Jason Morales win at Daytona, Joey Doucette win at Las Vegas, and then Keith Bradley punching his ticket to the playoffs last week at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. I don't think that changes. I think we'll have a new winner, so we'll continue it. I just don't know who to pick. That's the thing that I'm struggling with right now. So maybe you can kind of help me out on who you're thinking about.
Yeah, it's very difficult. And looking at the starting lineup here tonight, we have Ashley Dodson's going to start off on the pole position. Hunter Parson in that 25 is going to roll off second. Michael McKinnon third. And you just talked about Michael McKinnon's luck here tonight. He's going to roll off in the top 5. Keith Bradley, last week's winner, is going to roll off 4th. Justin White 5th. Kyle Hess 6th. Adam Newton 7th. Joey Doucette 8th. Justin Lumpkin 9th. Jose Luis Rivera 10th. And if you've got to ask me about tonight's race, I hate to call it there, Brady, but a back-to-back for the Keith Bradley, the animal in that 29 machine. I could see here, this, like you said, this is very similar to New Hampshire, to which he dominated at. Of course, Blake Lothian wanted everything he could to win at his home track, but it was Keith Bradley that got that victory. Let's take a look at the rest of that starting grid, Brady.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point, Blake Lothian's not here tonight. So we won't have him, even though, he ran well. Ashley Dotson, we talked about Mission 1 Esports. They're 2 in a row right now. Will Ashley dominate tonight and make it 3 in a row for Mission 1 Esports?
We'll have to wait and see. You see Zach Hartwick starting in that 11th position. Cody Knott with a great starting position here tonight. It's going to roll off 12th. Jacob Klinkhart's going to roll off 13th. Chris Blanchard in that 9 is going to roll off 14th. Chris Cinnamon, I heard y'all talking about Chris Cinnamon last night. He's going to roll off 15th. Jeff Seckles in that 22 is going to roll off 16th. Adam G. Johnson, one of those rookies that's been quiet this season so far, is going to roll off 17th. Jeff Merrick in that 60, 18th. Phil Pappas, 19th. Taylor Peacock, 20th. Ed Osborne, 21st. Stephen Thomas, 23rd. Brandon Bullock, 24th. Danny Shepard in that 45, 25th position. Eric Zimmerman, 26th. Raul Meza will start off 27th. And Huck Whittington will round out our field in the 28th spot.
Yeah, 28 trucks again this week, Will. As we saw last week at New Hampshire, we had 28 trucks. So we're starting to see a couple of guys tend to show up. There's the summer months. They got a lot of guys that's on vacations right now. We saw Devin Painter's not here tonight. He's heading to New York City right now, so he's on vacation. So we got Huck Wigginton back, I believe, this week. So a lot of those guys, as you see, a couple of them, I believe that's Taylor Peacock and a couple others taking those EOL penalties, as you discussed earlier.
Absolutely. You see Taylor Peacock in that 81. And, as far as that goes, Brady, most of the weeks here in the Nazareth Racing Organization, whether it's on Monday nights or Friday nights, I like to look actually at those positions from 15 on down, even past the 20th position starting grid, because we always see drivers climb up through the grid, big movers in the race. So it doesn't really matter where you start in this race, because I know these drivers will grind through the laps here that we have here tonight and do everything they can to scrape out a good finish.
Oh, absolutely. These races with the stages, Will, you can fall to the back, you can start in the back. And EOL, starting in the back's not the end of the world. Sometimes you see drivers get caught up in wrecks and they go a lap down early. They get back on the lead lap after the first stage, and they come back and have top 10, top 5 finishes. So these drivers know that there's still an opportunity there, and we're going to see which one can come up through the field first.
Absolutely. As we're about to kick off the ServPro 150 here tonight, we're getting ready to rock and roll here at the Milwaukee Mile, the oldest racetrack that we'll see all season. The pace truck pulls off, and our pole sitter Ashley Dotson will take the green flag into corner number 1.
Yeah, that's a slow start for Ashley Dotson. As you see, these guys capitalizing on it. Wow, that's just a big hiccup right there going right now. We got our first caution, Will.
We do, and it looks like it involves Chris Cinnamon is going to be mixed up in that here as we check out the on-the-pole instant replay. Brady, I think we were heading into corner number 1 where you already have trucks on the wall.
Yeah, we'll have to see right here. I didn't know if that was Adam Johnson maybe. Somebody looked like they got into the back maybe and spun out and collected Chris, or we're going to have to figure out which one it is. Yeah, that's Adam Johnson, as you were just talking about in the 69. That's actually Upfront Motorsports teammates right there. Oh, man, a big checkup right there. Yeah. Upfront Motorsports claiming 2 drivers right there. So doesn't look like it was too much damage. It seems like they might be able to go and get some optional repairs done down pit road to get that stuff fixed. But a weird start right there. We saw right there at the start-finish line, that inside line just did not go at all. And that's the end result. You see that checkup, and it's accordion effect, right? You don't know. You think everybody's full speed, and they're going to start breaking into turn one, and then all of a sudden you see the checkups, and tends to happen. You see the spin outs towards the back of the field, and that's what we saw right there, Will.
Absolutely, almost reminded me of the first corner at the Charlotte Roval, where everybody gets funneled into that first corner. That's what it looked like. We were 4 wide, 3 wide, everybody checking up on the entry of the corner. Very early for our first caution of the night, Brady Ned. But as you mentioned, I don't think there's going to be a lot of damage to those trucks. I think it's just a little bit of a dust your shoulders off, if you will. Keep it moving, keep it grooving here in this race. And we talked about our picks of the race. You see Keith Bradley up there, but there has been some guys that have been pretty good here the last couple weeks, getting significantly better. You know, you look at the likes of the 26 of Cody Knott. You also look at Zach Hartwick in that 12 machine. He's right there as well. Kyle Hess, Brady, is going to be in the top 5 here on the drop of the green flag. You know, I know these guys would love to get that first win out of the way so they don't have to worry about making it in those playoffs on points. Still a long way to go, only 4 weeks in. But of course, those guys that have won those races and race a full season, as you check out Hunter Parsons' machine there on the 25, how about some self-marketing on that back bumper?
Yeah, Hunter's running part time this season. This is his first race this season. He recently just moved to North Carolina, so he's joining Mission One to come and fight for this championship because Robbie Richards is not able to race tonight. So he'll fill in for that spot for team points as we see his big face right there on the tailgate of his truck. There, Will. But yeah, Ashley Dodson, Mission One's up there. Keith Bradley's up there. Kyle Hess, as you said. Kyle Hess, you know, he's due for a win. We've seen him join the series, you know, a couple of seasons ago and have early success with 2 wins out of, I think, his first 4 or 5 races. So it wouldn't be a surprise if I saw Kyle Hess go to victory lane tonight.
As we're going to go one more lap here at the Milwaukee Mile. And a little interesting tidbit about this racetrack, Brady, that I learned doing off air is this track was built in 1876 as a horse track. It was paved back in 1950s, 1960s, about 69 years ago. So this track has been around. I would call it maybe the oldest racetrack that we're going to see, or the oldest racetrack that we're going to broadcast. You know, these are little tidbits about the Milwaukee Mile that I had no idea about before tonight's race.
I did not either, and I'm glad you researched that, Will, to inform everybody because that is a new one for me. Had no clue, no idea, but I'm glad I know now. And if I would have known that, I would have put maybe some odds up there. Maybe some, we could have bet on these horses that are running around this track tonight.
Exactly. As we look at the pace truck, the lights are off. It will be Hunter Parsons. It will be the animal in the 29, taking us to the drop of the green flag. An early caution into corner number 1 on the drop of the green flag. We're going to try it once more as they are rumbling. They are stumbling across that green flag is in the air down to corner number 1.
Yeah, we saw a little bit better restart right there. Hunter gets out. He was controlling it, so he gets out in front. Keeps going to slide in right there behind him. You'll see them. I mean, we won't be able to necessarily see or hear them, Will, but they are. A lot of these drivers are going to be shifting in these corners right here, bringing it down to 3rd gear. You'll see the flames coming out the tailpipes, bringing it back up to 4th gear about right here coming off the corner. So, like I said, it's going to be similar to New Hampshire as you saw last week. And, you know, a lot of times you can save the right front by shifting, you know, to 3rd gear throughout the corner and kind of saving that as the run goes on.
As you see, Hunter Parsons takes us off of corner number 2, and you just mentioned it, Bray. It's going to be similar to last week's race at New Hampshire. Early on in this run, they're going to go very, very low on the racetrack to that white line. As the tire wear accumulates on those Goodyear Eagles, you're going to start to see those trucks slide up the racetrack. Then it's just going to be a me or a you versus me type of battle. If you can keep that truck low, if the guy behind you can keep it low as well, it's going to make it very difficult to pass. But you see the surface as we're riding on board with Hunter Parsons here. It's very bumpy. It's very old down there at the bottom of the racetrack. So it's going to make it very difficult once that tire wear starts to come in play. But right now, it's still the 23. Hunter Parsons taking us off corner number 4.
Yeah, and as you ride right here with Hunter, you can tell that, you know, he's familiar with this place. He knows how to drive it. He's very smooth getting in. Doesn't seem like he's loose getting in or tight getting out. But that's actually going to change, like you just said. As these tires wear on, you're going to see the shifting. You're going to see the guys coming off and turning the wheel, but the truck still wants to go straight into that outside corner. So it's going to be, a battle of who can save that right front better. As we see Keith, is right there, to capitalize if Hunter makes a mistake.
As we're now 10 laps into this race, we're now joined by Mr. Jake Reeves. And Jake, welcome into the booth here tonight, my man. We had an early caution to start out, actually into corner number 1. The field actually stacked up. A few guys got caught up in that, no serious damage. But right now, it's Hunter Parsons in that 25. He's feeling good off of that Joe Gibbs job that he just accepted there in North Carolina. He's leading the animal off of 4.
And he absolutely is. And, no surprise to see the animal Keith Bradley running right here in the position that he's in. I mean, coming from New Hampshire last week, and, I was sitting here listening to a second ago with you and Brady talking, this track very, very similar to New Hampshire. The only difference is this track is just way more wore out than New Hampshire is. So, no surprise to see, obviously, as you see right here, the animal Keith Bradley running up front and having a shot to go and try to get a hold of this win. I mean, obviously it's early, but he's still in contention. And, no surprise to see that, especially on a mile flat track, just like he did last week. So, awesome to see this right here, and awesome to see Hunter Parsons having a good run here tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the line actually that Hunter's taken in that 25. He's going very low to the racetrack. He's swinging out of the corner. As we ride on board the 29 machine of Keith Bradley, he seems to be a little bit more tighter on the exit. Which line do you think is going to be the better payoff here in the long run?
Well, I mean, diamond in the corner is going to be where you're going to get your speed. I mean, that's exactly where it's going to be. But with the diamond in the corner, where you're going to be hurting at is you're going to be scrubbing that right front, as Brady was talking about a while ago. Now, you see Bradley right here going in a little bit, getting a little bit high, and then coming down. Hunter going in low, sliding up, and then trying to come off low. What he's doing, diamonding, he's going to be burning those tires up, but it's like what Brady was talking about a second ago, the shifting aspect of it. You're going to have to shift. If anything, you're going to have to shift. Depending on whether or not you want a loose truck or a tight truck. You want a loose truck, you got to start shifting. You want a tight truck, you're going to have to not shift. And I actually ran a test race before this season started, because I jumped in here and ran with some of these guys. And Ashley Dodson, who's running third right now, he was in that test race, and he was actually starting to close in on me in that race. He never shifted. I did. So it just depends on how you want to do it, whether or not you want to shift, whether or not you want a loose truck, or whether or not you want a tight truck. You're going to see some guys shifting, you're going to see some guys not. But to answer your question, Will, and I know I'm kind of going on a rant here, but, I mean, just whatever line that you can get in the corner best to not burn that right front tire up, that's the best way that you're going to be able to go long, as you see Bradley starting to make a run right here on Parsons.
Yeah, we've cracked just over halfway here in stage number 1. Stage number 1 will end on lap 30. Of course, how that works, folks, is we'll cross the line at lap 30. Lap 31, that yellow flag will fly once the 10th truck crosses that line. But you're already starting to see battles percolate on the racetrack. There's Michael McKinnon in that 13. Cody Knott right there in that 26. Jumping through the field real quick. That's Justin White in that 2, rocking a different paint scheme here tonight. You see Jacob Klinkart, Justin Lumpkin right there as we come off the corner down the backstretch. The 18's already getting a little loose here, 17 laps in, but jumping up to the lead, as you mentioned, there is some battles going on up there as the animals looking to the inside of Hunter Parsons. Hunter gets a little loose off of 4. Keith Bradley is going to go door to door with him into corner number 1, wasting no time trying to pick up where he left off as they're going to John Force drag race off of corner number 2.
And the animal doing like he usually does, just waiting to pounce, and that is exactly what he has done. He clears Hunter Parsons, so Keith Bradley will take the lead of this race. Started the race 4th. Now he's going to take it off
get back on the gear, ride it through those stretches, front stretch, back stretch, without that truck getting sideways. And my little experience I have here driving a truck in the iRacing simulator, that is one of the most hardest things to do during a race.
And that's why these guys are basically showing it to perfection. With Keith Bradley, Ashley Dodson, Hunter Parsons, Justin White, Adam Newton, all those guys up there in the top 5. These guys been practicing this all week, and they're showing what practice makes perfect. I guess you could say. Well, I mean, we've heard that a lot. We've said it a lot. Practice makes perfect, and it is very, very difficult, especially if you're going in the corner and you've already got your shifter already up in third gear before you even get to the corner. Because how my shifter is, I can go into the corner and already have it up into third gear. And then that way when I lift off of the gas, it'll just go straight into third gear when you're going into the corner. So, you got your tricks and, your hacks, I guess you could say, to try to help you make it work. But some guys are not able to do that. Some guys have a paddle on their wheel, and they have to shift with that paddle. So, they're having to use the paddle, like you said, use the paddle to go into the corner, use the brake, drive it into the corner, then come out, use the paddle, try to upshift. It'll rack your brain trying to do it, especially with some of the viewers that are watching. It'll rack your brain, but when you do it over and over and over and over again, practice and do it, time and time through the week, it just becomes second nature to you.
Absolutely, and especially at a track like New Hampshire and here at the Milwaukee Mile, you have to get that truck almost to the lowest point of the corner. You don't want to rock it up the track too much. You want to keep that thing locked down. So a million things to think of while you're driving this truck around. But as you said, Jake, that's why these guys are in the trucks and we're up here in the booth. And you've ran a few races yourself here in the Monday Night Series and the Friday Night Series, and yeah, I'd say you do pretty good. You finished in the top 3 the last time, top 5 one of your other runs, so good to see you in that Marconi Setup Shop truck. But we're going to await that pace truck to pull off here. We're going to get the drop of the green flag. It's essentially going to be a green-white checker to decide stage number 1. It will be the Animal. It will be the Australian sensation taking us down into corner number 1.
Bradley's going to be getting that great jump straight down in front of his teammate Ashley Dodson. Big fight for third with Justin White and Hunter Parsons. White's going to be able to try to get around him. Parsons gets around him, Everything going crazy right here, Will. Everybody trying to battle it out as hard as they can. But Parsons may have something for him right here coming to the last part of this stage, as it looks like Bradley still leads. Pits are closed, so 2 to go in this stage.
2 to go as you see Ashley Dawson's trying to look to the inside of the 29 there in the apex of the corner. Hunter Parsons, as you mentioned, that 25, he's right there as well. Adam Newton in that 82, definitely rocking a different paint scheme here tonight. There goes Ashley Dawson. He's got Hunter Parsons right on his back bumper, but the 88 has to check up off of corner number 4. We're going to make it 1 lap to go here in stage number 1.
Bradley's just trying to see if he can scoot away. Dodson actually tries to put the block right there on Hunter Parsons going into turn number 1. Parsons right up on his back bumper, almost tags Ashley Dodson. And here comes Adam Newton out of nowhere, going to see if he can try to scoot up here, maybe try to battle it out and try to sneak up here on Parsons, try to get third. But it looks like Keith Bradley's going to get this bad boy all wound up. Keith Bradley coming for the checkered flag.
And he takes the checkered here in stage number 1, just picking up where he left off from New Hampshire. Last week's winner didn't start on the pole position. Actually, he's up 3 spots from the drop of the green flag. But boy, once he gets out in that clean air, he is a hard animal to tame. See if we can talk to that stage 1 winner real quick here on the NASRA 360 Racing Network. I believe, Jake, you're checking up with the Animal right now.
Yep, and we're getting the Animal, Keith Bradley, in there. Keith Bradley, this is Jacob Reeves. You got a copy?
What's going on?
Well, Bradley, I think, or Keith, I think you actually looked like you might have took some notes from me. I guess you could say on this track. I mean, how's that truck feeling tonight?
So far so good. Usually when I come here, I struggle pretty bad, and with the help of some teammates that race on Monday nights, I took some notes, tried some things, tried some different things in practice, and actually tried the shifting part in the race here, and kind of paid off.
Well, that's awesome to see. What is it going to take to get another stage win and also try to go back to back here this week?
Pit road, getting on and off pit road. This pit road's real hard to get on and off because the line is right at the entrance of pit road. So if you're not at speed, you're kind of in a bad place. So that's going to be the hardest spot. Survival as usual, and just making sure you hit all your marks.
Keith Bradley, the animal, getting stage one. We'll see if he can try to sweep them here tonight at Milwaukee. Keith Bradley, good luck, bud.
Thank you.
That was the animal, Keith Bradley, and well, it looked pretty dominant right there. Looked like he had to try to find a way to get around Hunter Parsons. He was able to do it, and looks like he just set sail from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we talked about, this track is very similar to New Hampshire. He knows how to rock those lines. We rode on board with him there in stage number 1, and how he was keeping it a lot more tight off the corners. You explained how that's better on the tires, and he's actually just talked about there how this is going to be maybe not a pitch strategy race, but getting down pit road is going to be the crazy aspect of tonight's race.
Absolutely, and you can see where pit road entry, really different than New Hampshire is, really different than basically any track that we go to. As you're going to see when they come back down the front stretch, where the pit road is, it's actually completely off of turn number 4. You're actually on the front stretch, completely on the front stretch before you see this very tight little opening to your left. And that is where pit road is, and it's very tight to get in there. So that's where we're going to see a lot of guys that could be a make or break going in there for green flag pit stops later on in this race. That's going to be really that's going to be something really key to see in the final stage.
As we're getting the grid ready to rock and roll here to kick off stage number 2. Looks like we have a new top 10 on the board. Stephen Thomason at 23 is going to be on the starting pole position here in stage number 2. Chris Blanchard's going to roll off second. Sean Hamilton third. Chris Cinnamon fourth. Michael McKinnon fifth. Taylor Peacock sixth. Keith Bradley, our stage winner, seventh. Ashley Dodson eighth. Hunter Parsons, 9th, and Joey Doucette will be our top 10 here. And I have to mention to the folks at home, we do have some drivers that didn't head down pit road. Actually, our top 6 did not head down pit road there on the stage break. So there's going to be around 8-lap difference between that equipment here, Jake, on this restart. So I'm curious to see if these guys can hold it down.
Well, they're going to have to really try to hold it down the best that they possibly can, because they got some hungry guys back here with 4 fresh tires that's going to be coming really hard trying to get to them the best that they can. Remember, you got 5 sets of tires, 4 laying in the pits. The 5th set was on the truck when they started. So, some of these guys trying to go for a little bit of strategy, and some of these guys might actually be driving better on older tires, but we'll see what happens right here with Stephen Thomas as the pace truck is off. Stephen Thomas waiting, and he is off on the gas, jumps straight to the top, gets a great jump over Christopher Blanchard as everybody trying to fight to try to see if they can get around Blanchard going into turn 1. Stephen Thomas still got the lead. Blanchard gets a huge jump right here on the rest of these guys. Sandeman actually was a lap down at one point. Now he's up here battling for that 3rd spot with Sean Hamilton right below him. So Hamilton's going to be able to jump low, get around him, get clear. And wow, Thomas has absolutely checked out from this field, not wanting to play any way, shape, fashion, or form with Blanchard at all. Thomas gone half a second over him. Now Blanchard trying to see if he can reel him in the best that he can. But Chris Cinnamon, we talked about him just a second ago, was a lap down. Now up here inside the top 3.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this plays out. It's going to be about a 15 lap difference between stage number 1 and stage number 2. We're going to run it down to lap 75 here in this second stage, the ServPro 150. And as you talked about it, Stephen Thomas, he just ran the fastest lap of the race so far, a 30.27. He is gapped at now almost a half a second from second spot, and that's Chris Blanchard in that 9. Chris Cinnamon and Sean Hamilton are trying to lead the Canadian Brigade up to the top. They are 3 and 4 on the racetrack. As you see, Chris Cinnamon, he is on the back bumper of that 9.
And Bradley's under fire from Michael McKinnon for that 5th spot. Hunter Parsons right there on the bottom of the racetrack trying to find his way around Bradley. McKinnon, he's going to get clear. Maybe, maybe not. Slides right up in front of Bradley. Almost cut his nose off as Hunter Parsons may try to think about it and try to see if he can dive it in really deep right here. A lot of these guys driving very, very hard right now as Bradley looks like he may be falling back just a little bit.
Yeah, Keith Bradley in that 29. Although it might look like he's fallen back, he has not lost his hunger. We saw it last week on that 29. He's a cool guy in that race, in that truck there. As you see, there's a big stack up there off of corner number 2. The 13 didn't get back up on the gas quick enough there. Got a little love tap from the 29 at Keith Bradley down the backstretch. Right now, the 13 is just trying to hold on to that spot. He's in that 6th position. He is holding off the legs of Adam Newton, Keith Bradley right there as well, as it looks like the animal is going to be under fire into 1 and 2. Jump back up here to the top of the grid. Now we have a 3-truck separation coming off of corner number 2.
And it looks like that Chris Cinnamon has actually found his way around Christopher Blanchard. Now he's setting his sights on Stephen Thomas. Remember, folks, just a second ago, I said that Chris Cinnamon was a lap down. Now up here trying to battle for the lead as Thomas almost gets into the fence. That's going to open the door wide open for Cinnamon. Cinnamon drives it in very, very hard, trying to get in the back bumper of Stephen Thomas. We will have a battle for the lead within the next couple of laps between these two drivers.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if that was any damage to the 23 machine of Stephen Thomas, because as you see, he's taking these corners just a little bit different now. He might be fighting the truck now off of that scrape with the you see it right there off of 4. He wiggles that tail. He might be fighting that truck inside the cockpit, Jake. I'll be curious to see if he can hold this lead position.
I don't believe he'll be able to hold it, honestly, because Cinnamon has been coming, and he is rolling right now all the way up to Thomas's back bumper. Now it's just a matter of fact of if Cinnamon can figure out a way to try to get around Stephen Thomas. You see Thomas drives it in really, really deep going into 3. Cinnamon being able to keep it where he wants it, basically filling Stephen Thomas's back mirror, basically filling his mirror full of that number 3 Ford F-150 right now as they are rolling right around this corner. Cinnamon still trying to find a way around Stephen Thomas.
Just in the words of Limp Bizkit, they just keep rolling into 3 and 4, but they better watch out because there is a fast truck coming their way. Hunter Parsons in that 25 machine just ran the fastest lap of the race, a 30.12. He owns that now in the record books. He is eager to climb up inside of that podium position. Each second that goes by, he is making that gap a little bit smaller. There's a lot of laps to do it here in stage number 2. As you see, those top 3 trucks are still pacing the field into 3 and 4. You jump back down, though, Jake, inside that top 10. A lot of guys just trying to hang on to position. Speaking of which, there's Keith Bradley in that 29, and there's the caution flag here, our 3rd caution of the night.
We got a pile up back here in the back. Raul Meza is one of those drivers. Not real sure if he got caught up in it or if he just swooped up and was able to miss it. But a big, big pile up going into turn number 3. Like Dana Shepard was one of those guys that got hooked around. A couple of other drivers just get spun, but that's typical short track racing, I guess you could say. Well, I mean, one guy drives it in a little bit too deep, gets into the other guy, and then just, I mean, it's typical because you got other guys that's got other braking points on the racetrack. And, you know, Dana Shepard may have checked up just a little bit too hard, as you see right here. Actually, no, it looks like they was honestly, it looked like Shepherd Baby came down just a little bit, thought he was clear, and he was most certainly not. As you see, the other driver right here to his inside, and just drives it straight in on his inside. He was there. Shepherd just came down right there, and I mean, there ain't nothing you can do at that point.
No, and you see the 26 of Cody Knott's going to be involved right on that wonderful shot we have here on the NASCAR 360 Racing Network. Adam Johnson, who was involved one of our early cautions, Raul Meza in that 37, he's going to have a little front end damage. Ooh, maybe a lot of front end damage as we watch that slow-mo replay as he touches that top side wall. Man, big pile up there. And all these guys really were just trying to hold on to the top 15, maybe crack inside the top 10 here in stage number 2 as we check out that ServPro machine of Raul Meza in that 37. And it just looks like to me, Jake, he's just going to be innocent bystander as you see 3 trucks pile up in the corner. He has really nowhere to go.
Absolutely nowhere to go. I mean, he was on the brakes, didn't really know where they was going, and you could see, I mean, it's very overcast day here at the Milwaukee Mile. You know, it's not as bright, or I guess you could say so. It's kind of dark, I guess you could say, in the cockpit of the trucks. You know, very hard to see, especially when you got all that smoke that popped up right there in front of him. It just makes your visual, I guess you could say, it just makes it 10 times worse. But up front, we still got Stephen Thomas, though. He's still going to be the leader with Chris Cinnamon, Christopher Blanchard, Hunter Parsons, and Sean Hamilton going to be the top 5. Hamilton actually started this race in the 20th position. Stephen Thomas started 23rd, so some of these guys trying to get a little bit of a strategy going back here, but don't count out that animal. Keith Bradley right behind them, sitting in that 6th spot with fresher tires than these other guys up front. So, well, I got a feeling that these tires right here, they're going to come to play later on. As you see right there, Sean Hamilton looks like he's going to take his truck down pit road.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of that ServPro machine of Raul Meza in that 37, we're honored to have them on as our race sponsor here tonight. They're our caution flag sponsor on Monday nights. Here tonight, they're going to sponsor the whole thing. We invite you to go check them out, restoring homes affected by fire, water, mold, or hurricanes like it never even happened. Don't stress about the mess. Contact ServPro today at servpro.com. Once again, we want to thank them for being our race sponsor here, Jake, but we're about to re-rack them, and we're cruising towards the drop of the green flag.
Absolutely, and Stephen Thomas going to be on that front row with Chris Cinnamon, Christopher Blanchard, Hunter Parsons will be in that 2nd row. Looks like Keith Bradley going to be on the bottom after Sean Hamilton had to make that pit stop, so that'll put Bradley on the bottom with Newton be in 6th. Then it's Lumpkin, Doucette, Jeff Merrick, and Justin White as we are getting ready for the green flag. As Thomas is on the gas, jumps all the way up to the middle. I thought he was going to go to the top because he's going to go right down into the bottom, as it looks like Blanchard and Cinnamon battling it out for that 2nd spot.
Yeah, they're wasting no time here on the drop of the green flag down the backstretch. You already see a battle for 2nd, battle for 3rd. Drivers going way to the low side into 3 and 4. And you see Parsons is trying to get back up to the top where he left off. And the caution flag is out. Boy, that was fast here, Jake. I think we ran about 1 lap there under green.
1 lap, and it looked like Dana Shepard tried to make a move to the inside. Cody Knott also involved in this, as well as Huck Wigington in the 00. Looked like, you know, Knott tried to go on the inside of Wigington, and, you know, it just wasn't able to make it work. I mean, honestly, from what it looked like, Knott came up, and yep, Knott came straight up, got into Wigington, and then Dana Shepard, basically like what Raul Meza was in that last caution before this, an innocent bystander. Shepard had absolutely nowhere to go.
Yeah, and that's just tough off the corner number 2. And for Huck Whittington making his return in the Concerns of Police Survivors truck, and going to see Cody Knott in the 26. I talked about how he was starting great here tonight, had a great run going as well. he's going to have some heavy front end damage, 00 as well. And you know, Jake, you know how hard it is if you have any damage on your truck. You keep that thing rolling on the racetrack. It just makes you more, you know, more prone to more accidents coming towards you.
Absolutely. I mean, you just got to just fight it out at that point. I mean, when you've got as much damage as Cody Knott, you know, getting involved in that other caution before this, you know, you're just trying just to survive at this point. We mentioned, you know, Keith Bradley in the interview after he won stage one, just to survive, and that's basically what it is now, especially for Cody Knott, as he's coming off of pit road trying to get his truck wound up, try to get it caught back up to the field, but it's all survival. Especially, you know, here, Vegas, you know, Iowa, where we're going to go next week. I mean, it's survival, uh, survival of the fittest. Basically, that's what it is. And, you know, Cody Knott's just going to have to just keep on chugging along, just try to survive as much as he can.
Yeah, and me and Ray were actually talking about it before you joined us up here in the booth. We made race picks here tonight. I said the animal of the 29 of Keith Bradley has a good chance to go back to back. And, you know, I wanted to ask you that same question as we're still under caution here in the ServPro 150. Who would be your race pick here tonight?
Well, I mean, you know, obviously, you know, I mean, I would say Keith Bradley, but you made that pick, so obviously I can't go that route. You know, everybody kind of wanting to go for the champion, obviously the past champion, which was the Triple M Pull and Truck Series, now is the C.O.P.S Truck Series. But you know, I got my eye honestly on, you know, Hunter Parsons. You know, I seen him, and Chris Cinnamon. You know, mentioned this a while ago. Chris Cinnamon went down a lap. Now he's able to get back, basically done it the hard way. Got back on the lead lap and then basically drove all the way back up to get back up to that third spot. So I got my eye on Hunter Parsons, Chris Cinnamon, but if I had to take a pick between either one of them, I'd have to go with that number 3, Chris Cinnamon.
Absolutely, and in Victory Lane on Monday night, we had somebody quote Drake and say started from the bottom, now we're here. We have a Canadian and Chris Cinnamon inside the top 3 here tonight, and boy, if he wins, that would make it 4 different winners to start off the season. Actually, anybody right now inside of the top 5 would be a first-time winner this season. And to win early on here, and if you're a full-time driver, you lock yourself into those playoffs. The rest of the season you can spend recruiting, studying, making sure you know what to do once those playoff races start. But here we go, folks. The pace lights are officially off of the pace truck. We're going to get things rocking and rolling here once again in the ServPro 150. Stephen Thomas, Chris Blanchard, Chris Cinnamon, Hunter Parsons, Adam Newton, Keith Bradley, Justin Lumpkin, Joey Doucette, Jeff Merrick, and Jose Luis Rivera will be our top 10 as they are ready to rock and roll. They take the green flag, a huge restart out of Stephen Thomas in that 23 as he takes us into 1 and 2.
Thomas gets that huge rocket ship like launch, if you will. Here comes Cinnamon on the inside. He's going to fight with Blanchard for second. Actually, no contest as Blanchard jumps straight to the top. Cinnamon takes it, and so Cinnamon will go straight into that second spot. Side-by-side battle now as Blanchard's going to go toe-to-toe with Hunter Parsons. And don't count out Adam Newton, as Newton starting to try to make a little bit of noise as Newton, a former winner on the Monday night series, trying to see if he can fight him out and see if he can get around Hunter Parsons for 4th.
And I'm looking at the 16 of Joey Doucette. What a move that was down the front stretch. A little okey doke down to the inside. You could almost see the tires jump off of that machine as he was trying to get to the inside. That battle actually still rages on. He is to the inside of Jeff Merrick. This is to stay inside the top 10. This is actually for the 8th position. As we look up at the lead here coming down the front stretch, Chris Cinnamon keeps thinking about that inside move here, Jake, into 1 and 2, but it looks like we've simmered down just a little bit here on the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, everybody looking like they're going to go single file here for the most part. For the most part, around the top 10, top 11 trucks, if you will. Nobody really going side by side from what I'm able to see on the racetrack. So everybody kind of just simmering it down, taking their time, knowing that, you know, we still got a long ways to go in this race. But I'll say this, my pick Cinnamon looks like he's starting to really put the heat on Stephen Thomas for the lead.
As we jump back up to that lead, we're looking at a battle right there. Oh my goodness, it gets tight off of corner number 2. Chris Cinnamon, Steven Thomas looks to be separating from the rest of the field. You see Hunter Parsons in that 25. You like him here in this race. He's creeping back up there as well. That gap is almost to a second. It's a 2-truck battle here in stage number 2, and there goes Chris Cinnamon to the inside into 1 and 2. The 3 machine is trying to get around Steven Thomas, and he'll clear him off of corner number 2 down the backstretch.
Cinnamon making a powerhouse move to Steven Thomas in turn 1. Now Cinnamon going to look like he's see if he can try to chug away as Thomas makes a huge dive, basically sending it going into turn number 3, getting to the back bumper of Cinnamon. Thomas made that dive, was not able to make it work, and now Cinnamon going to start to pull away from Steven Thomas.
He is pulling away here in stage number 2. We have about 16 laps to go here in this stage, and looking for our 4th different winner of the season. As you see Steven Thomas, Hunter Parsons, Keith Bradley there right inside the top 5. Chris Blanchard will round out our top 5. And what stands out to me here in stage number 2 is, a lot of these guys, we don't call their names a lot during the season. It's not any indication of their driving skill. We just haven't seen them inside the top 5 or top 10 yet this season. Our top 10 is filled with a bunch of guys who would love to get that first win of the season.
And a big battle right here for that top 5 spot as Joey Doucette made it all the way down, made it 3 wide with Adam Newton, and Christopher Blanchard slid all the way up in front of Newton's front bumper. Now he's going to go all the way to the top side. Newton stuck down on the bottom. Blanchard had to completely get out of the gas, so Blanchard's going straight to the back as Doucette made a hard-fought move. Now he's looking to make another hard-fought move on Newton. He'll back away. Newton will start to gradually try to get away from Joey Doucette, but Doucette made a very, very aggressive move going into turn number 1 that last lap.
Yeah, that's a hornet's nest right there to stay inside the top 10. You see Adam Newton rocking a different paint scheme here in the DSR electric machine. You see the Joker, Joey Doucette's right there as well. Adam Newton currently in that 5th spot. They're about 2.5 seconds off of our leader, who is Chris Cinnamon. Just ran a 30.73 last time by, and they're still rocking in those 30s. You got to go all the way down to the 8th position to see 31s here on lap 63. But Jake, you got to watch out here because this is around that window these drivers were used to running those tires. We're gonna have about we're looking at around 45 or 25 lap difference around that range here in this stage. So we'll have to see how these drivers can maintain that tire wear. As you still see Chris Cinnamon, and we might have a battle for a second. We just saw it briefly on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. It looked like Steven Thomas had a huge run. No, that's Keith Bradley, the animal, who is eating up the field. He is now up to second, going to the inside of Steven Thomas in 3 and 4, and it looks like the animal will eat another position as now he is up to the 2nd spot.
And he is wanting more. He is wanting absolutely all of it, trying to claw his way to Chris Cinnamon, showing that those 4 fresh tires that he has, fresher tires that Cinnamon has, obviously. We'll see if Bradley's able to get to him, but he is starting to chip away at this lead that Chris Cinnamon has. Thomas still trying to hold down 3rd as Hunter Parsons trying to hold down 4th with Adam Newton trying to see if he can jump up here and get a hold of this battle. Looks like Parsons is going to try to take his truck to the inside, maybe try to take a battle to Steven Thomas going into turn number 1.
And my hat's off to Steven Thomas. He's actually the only truck still out there on older equipment per se. Last time down pit road was lap 24. And our leader, Chris Cinnamon, in that 3. He had it down last time, lap 25. So they're holding off some very, very fast trucks on new equipment here at the end of this stage. And they can hold on to these spots as now you see the 23 of Steven Thomas. He's under fire from Hunter Parsons in that 25 machine. It won't be long until the animal smells the 3 machine and he'll pounce at that opportunity. As you see, Steven Thomas might get a BOGO action there. He's going to lose 2 spots within a lap as Adam Newton makes the pass as well.
And don't count out this 85 truck right here of Phil Pappas, all the way from 19th all the way up to 6th. Going to see if he can squeeze his way up here and get him a top 5 right here to end this stage. But up front, Chris Cinnamon he has got a rear view mirror full of the defending champion and last week's winner and stage 1 winner for that matter, in the animal of Keith Bradley, straight up his tailgate, literally just pushing him all the way around the track. Not literally, but figuratively, if you will, pushing Chris Cinnamon all the way around this racetrack. As you see, gets right up to his tailgate, showing Cinnamon that he is there. I'm telling you, if one little slip, if Chris Cinnamon just makes one little slip, Keith Bradley's going to have this lead.
Yeah, you see Chris Cinnamon, he was touching the white line with those Goodyear Eagles. He's trying everything he can to keep that thing low here at the Milwaukee Mile. Keith Bradley's just waiting for that opportunity like he does. That's why he's the defending champion here in the C.O.P.S Survivors Truck Series. He's just looking for that littlest mistake. As you mentioned, Jake, just for the 3 to slide up the racetrack just a little bit. Keith Bradley will put that nose right there to let him know, and it will force the 3 up the track. You see it right there. Thought he had a run into 1 and 2. We're riding on board the 3 machine of Chris Cinnamon, and boy, like you said, he is locked on that back bumper with 6 laps to go down the backstretch.
And Cinnamon is going to have to do everything that he can to just try to run his race, knowing that he's got older tires than the driver behind him, that being Keith Bradley. Now Bradley's going to try to take a look to the inside, and thinks better of it, jumps right back in line behind Chris Cinnamon. Very, very hard racing and respectful racing by these 2 veterans here in the C.O.P.S Truck Series, as Bradley's still trying to find a way around him. Now these 2 drivers actually separating themselves from 3rd, 4th, and 5th, with that being Hunter Parsons, Adam Newton, and now Phil Pappas finds his way around Stephen Thomas for 5th.
Yeah, you see that top 10 is now changing. Jeff Merrick is inside the top 10. Justin Lumpkin's inside the top 10. Stephen Thomas as well. You just talked about it. Phil Pappas is inside the top 5, up 14 spots from the drop of the green flag. Currently tied for our Hard Charger award, which would be Chris Cinnamon in that 3. He's also up 14 spots, and that might be the small mistake that Keith Bradley needs as he gets loose off of corner number 2. And, you know, this is just a shout out to Bill Murray, a shout out to Denzel Washington. This is Groundhog's Day. This is deja vu. This is exactly the battle that we saw last week at New Hampshire with Blake Lothian leading the way there at his home track. Keith Bradley, like the animal that he is, he just waited his turn, waited for that opportunity. He pounced at it, and once he got around that 43 truck, he left the scene, trying to do the same thing here tonight in the ServPro 150 as they'll go nose to tail into 3 and 4.
Cinnamon still trying to figure it out, and Cinnamon sends it in very, very deep. That may open the door for the animal Keith Bradley, as Bradley all the way down to the bottom. Drag race, both fenders doored each other coming to the line as pit road is closed. This is the 2 to go for the stage. These guys right here battling very, very hard. Cinnamon not wanting to give it up. Bradley's going to be able to get clear off of turn number 2.
Keith Bradley, the animal, takes us down the backstretch here into 3 and 4, trying to sweep the stages in the ServPro 150. Chris Cinnamon, though, is still looking for that opportunity as Keith Bradley comes off of 4. He's going to get the 1 to go here in stage number 2.
Bradley made it work and done it as clean as he possibly could. A little bit of door banging, but hey, that's short track racing at its finest, as Bradley is going to be able to start trying to scoot away from Chris Cinnamon. A couple of lap trucks up here, they will not be a factor, as Bradley's got 1 more turn, two more turns to be exact, to try to see if he can hold on to it. Looks like he's going to be able to get it, as the animal Keith Bradley comes off turn number 4. He won stage number 1. Now he wins stage number 2 here at Milwaukee. Chris Cinnamon will get 2nd. Hunter Parsons will get 3rd. Phil Pappas out of nowhere is going to get that 4th spot, with Adam Newton rounding out the top 5.
As they say in NBA Jam, you make three three-pointers in a row. They say that you're on fire, and I have to say, Keith Bradley in at 29, he is on fire, coming off the win at New Hampshire, wins the first stage, wins the second stage here in the ServPro 150, just has a few more laps to just go back-to-back here in the Concerns of Police Survivors Truck Series. What an impressive performance there in stage number 2. Looking at the rest of that grid there, Stephen Thomas going to finish that stage 6th, Jeff Merrick 7th, Justin Lumpkin 8th, Justin White, 9th, and Joey Doucette, the Joker, will round out our top 10 here in stage number 2. It looks like the entire field will head down pit road here under this caution.
Absolutely, and everybody coming down, getting themselves 4 fresh tires, filling that bad boy up full of gas. So, or fuel, excuse me, gas, fuel. I'm Southern. I'm going to say gas. That's just how it is. But anyway, here's the big fight off of pit road. Everybody trying to just get that least little bit extra spot that they can get. But it looks like the animal, Keith Bradley, is actually going to get beat out of the pits by Chris Cinnamon. So, Cinnamon made that strategy work to be able to get up here and get that second spot in the stage. Now he's on an even playing field with the animal Keith Bradley. This could be a very, very good race between these two drivers right here. I cannot wait to see how this turns out between these two.
Absolutely. As the grid gets lined back up, we'll take our first break of the evening, and we'll give you that drop of the green flag here on the NASRA 360 Racing Network. Welcome back to the ServPro 150 here on the NASRA 360 Racing Network. My name is William Tiller. I am joined by Jake Reeves, Adam Fleeger as our wonderful producer here in the Concerns of Police Survivors Truck Series as we await the drop of the green flag. Keith Bradley, the animal, coming off a win last week, win stage number 1, win stage number 2, and here will take the field with Chris Cinnamon to the drop of the green flag down into corner number 1.
Cinnamon gets a great jump right here over the animal, Keith Bradley. Now Bradley's going to have to see if he can jump down. Actually jumps down very well right in front of Hunter Parsons. Parsons going to be side-by-side battle with Phil Pappas. Pappas up top, making the top lane work here in Milwaukee as Phil Pappas, the surprise, I guess you could say here for this race here at Milwaukee in the C.O.P.S Truck Series. Phil Pappas all the way up to 3rd.
As you mentioned there in stage number 2, he was making moves up the track, and you see that hornet's nest to stay inside the top 10 right there on our shot in the NASRA 360 Racing Network. And Phil Pappas, I gotta say, he is rocking one of the cleanest paint schemes of the race right there. He has a good competitor, and there goes that competitor, Hunter Parsons, in that 25, who's doing a little self-marketing with his face on the back bumper there. Keeps looking to the inside. He keeps trying, but Chris Cinnamon, though, looks like he might have an issue. Went very high there off of corner number 4.
Yeah, it looked like Cinnamon got very, very loose right there, almost completely lost the truck. We've seen drivers with that money shift, I guess you could say, just snap around on them. So Cinnamon able to hold on to it as best as he possibly can. He's going to end up losing the lead. He's actually going to go all the way back to the 4th spot, right behind Hunter Parsons. That will hand the lead over to the animal, Keith Bradley. And I'll be honest with you, Will, that's something that this field does not want to do, is just give the lead to the animal, Keith Bradley.
Yeah, last season's defending champion got his first victory of the year last week, trying to make it go back to back here tonight, like Drizzy Drake going into 3 and 4. The animal, though, when we talk to him, he doesn't seem happy with his performances. You know, it's awesome to win, it's awesome to get those checkered flags, but you can tell that it's a race against himself most weeks, Jake. You know, at New Hampshire, he had to chase down the 43 truck of Blake Lothian after sliding down the grid a little bit. Here tonight, due to pit stops at the slide down, now working again up at the top. And you know, it's going to be lonely there at the top of the grid. You got to do a lot more. You got to block a lot more lines. You got to be a lot more precise to make sure you don't lose that lead spot. And it looks like Phil Pappas is trying to take that. He just ran the fastest lap of the race.
Phil Pappas finding something, and Phil Pappas just got seriously loose off of turn number 4. Wow, I mean, he was really starting to make some moves, getting up there to the back bumper of the animal Keith Bradley, but Phil Pappas still trying to send it going into these corners, wanting to be able to get up here and be able to lock himself into the playoffs and not have to worry about it later on in the season. But once again, it's like I said, though, well, you know, you've got to get around the champion from the previous season, won the race last week, won stage 1 and stage 2. It's a tall order for Phil Pappas, but Phil Pappas really showing some strength right here in stage number 3.
Yeah, his lap times are almost identical to our leader, Keith Bradley. And that run that he had, he ran a 30 flat around the Milwaukee mile. Nobody has done that yet here in this race. Our leader, Keith Bradley, came very close, as well as Hunter Parsons. We'll jump back behind the second spot. We might have a battle for third raging on there. As you see, Chris Cinnamon, after going very, very wide on that corner, now trying to creep back up. But you also look at a big rookie this season who didn't get a chance to qualify in this race. Jeff Merrick in that 60, he's creeping up there as well.
Absolutely, and you mentioned did not qualify, so started this race 18th. Now all the way up to 5th, said if he can try to jump up here, make a little noise as a rookie coming into this season. And what a race, what a win it would be. What a night it would be for the rookie Jeff Merrick to get up here and steal one here at the Milwaukee Mile, go ahead and win and lock himself into the playoffs. He's looking pretty good where he's at, running in that 5th spot. But up front, Phil Pappas still trying to chase down Keith Bradley. Cinnamon still trying to chase down Hunter Parsons. Meanwhile, right behind them, Stephen Thomas trying to put some pressure on Adam Newton.
As you see Adam Newton in that 82 machine, the DSR Electric. You see Jeff Merrick, he did touch that top side wall there down the backstretch. Looks like he's got some heavy damage now to the right side of that truck, just trying to get it down into the corner. We'll check it out here on the NASCAR 360 Racing Network. No damage that we can see per se. Definitely slowed him down a lot on the racetrack. He's still competing for that position with Adam Newton in that 82, and you saw him scrape the top side. He lost a lot of speed into the corner. Looks to be all right, though. That truck is very bouncy, though, as there was almost contact between him and Adam Newton.
Yeah, Merrick got into turn 3 and just absolutely lost the nose of his truck and just, it just stepped out on him. So he was very good. Didn't actually get into the wall, Will, so he was actually able to save the truck. But was making a very good run trying to get up there with Chris Cinnamon. Now he's in a fight right now with Adam Newton. But up front, you see this battle raging on right now as Phil Pappas still trying to inch even closer and closer, basically mimicking lap times with the animal Keith Bradley. Phil Pappas ran a 30.7 that time. Bradley run a 30.6, so a 10th off. But I mean, you couldn't tell. You really couldn't tell a difference right now, Will, because both of them running very, very similar as a caution is on the Speedway.
Caution is out here in the ServPro 150 as we check out the on the pole instant replay to see what happens here. This is our leaders, Keith Bradley, Phil Pappas, and we jump back up here. And it looks like that's going to involve Adam Johnson again there in that 69 machine. And it's just going to be a self-spin out there, Jake. We've seen that a few times here tonight, and we talked about the difficult aspect of having to downshift and then ride through the corners, and it looks like that's exactly what happened there.
And it could have been, obviously where you are right or 100% on that, and it could have been, like I said earlier, that he might have that brake bias down so low to where he just got on the brakes just too hard, locked the brakes up, and the back end just came around. Thankfully, nobody was able to get involved in that accident right there. But good driving, by Adam Johnson, being able to keep it from going right all the way straight up, or excuse me, spinning to the left and then going all the way up to the right, which we have seen Eric Zimmerman do that exact same thing. He did that exact same thing. So very unfortunate for that. But Johnson able to save the truck, and that's big right there, as we see a lot of drivers coming down pit road.
Yeah, it looks like the entire field will head down pit road here under this caution. And I'm thinking they're trying to push that to the end of this race. And I believe this is the perfect time, though, to talk about our new title sponsor, our league sponsor here on Friday nights, the Concerns of Police Survivors. Of course, we are honored and thrilled to announce the partnership between the Concerns of Police Survivors organization and the North American Sim Racing Association. The C.O.P.S logo will shine bright across the live broadcast as the new title sponsor for the Friday night series. Special thank you definitely goes out to Mr. Lee Murphy, whose partnership with NASRA was done, and dedication to his father. All he asked was that logo be placed on those trucks during these races. We invite you to check out the wonderful things that C.O.P.S does at www.concernsofpolicesurvivors.org. Again, that's concernsofpolicesurvivors.org. And we are honored, like I said, lucky to have them on board, and we couldn't be more blessed to be represented by an awesome organization than the Concerns of Police Survivors.
Absolutely, Will. And, we talk about them every single week, and for good reason. I mean, just a great organization with, the Concerns of Police Survivors. I say it every week, and but I really do mean it, for what, the frontline police officers do on a daily basis, and what they have to deal with, and with the families that are left at home while these police officers are at work, and then what happens to them. Or I mean, it's a crazy world that we live in, Will, and it's great to see an organization that does so much like the Concerns of Police Survivors, that does for the communities, for the families, and all of them. So I mean, I'm like I say every single week, I'm 100% behind the men in blue that do what they do to protect us on a daily basis. And couldn't be more proud to have them sponsoring the Concerns of Police Survivors Truck Series.
As this is the ServPro 150 again, I'm William Tiller, joined by Jake Reeves, Adam Flieger here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. It's been a pretty entertaining race so far here tonight. We saw the animal Keith Bradley win both stages, but here we have a new top 10 to get the drop of the green flag. Chris Cinnamon, Jacob Klinkart, Jose Luis Rivera, Dana Shepard, Chris Blanchard, Keith Bradley, Justin White, Hunter Parsons, Phil Pappas, and Jeff Merrick will be our top 10 as we see that pace truck pull off. They are rumbling to the drop of the green flag down to corner number 1.
Cinnamon gets a rocket ship-like restart, jumps straight out. He's going to leave Klinkart and Jose Luis Rivera in the dust. Rivera on the bottom. He's actually going to clear Klinkart, so move Rivera up to that second spot. Klinkart back to third. Shepard actually in a 3-wide battle with Blanchard, Bradley. Everybody trying to find a way around as Bradley Bradley's into the fence. Keith Bradley, the animal, into the fence, head on into the wall. Caution is on the Speedway. Wow, I mean, very unfortunate to see that. Bradley thought he had it saved. As you see all of this ruckus, all this racing going on, Bradley jumps straight into turn number 3. Back end comes around, tries to save it. Does the same thing that Eric Zimmerman did. That is going to be very unfortunate right there. Hopefully Bradley's going to be able to get that truck lined up. Parsons actually right behind him did the same exact thing, but Parsons was able to catch it.
Yeah, if we could check out that replay again, Hunter Parsons with an awesome wheel movement there at the 25. He saw the 29 get completely sideways, somehow was able to tame his truck to make sure he doesn't make contact. We'll watch it here again on this replay. He sees the 29 directly in front of him sideways. Oh my goodness, what a way to survive that. And that's a split-second decision he has to make there, Jake.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't know. I mean, when you see a guy just get loose in front of you, your first reaction is, well, if he gets loose, he's just going to go left. So I'm just going to go right. I'm just going to go around to the outside of him. Well, that doesn't happen in every single case, and it didn't happen in that case right there with Keith Bradley. He went left and then went right. So great awareness and great patience by Hunter Parsons, letting everything develop in front of him, letting the wreck develop in front of him, or accident or spin or however you want to call it. I call it a wreck, but anyway, letting the wreck develop in front of him, and then taking what he is given. Basically, that's exactly what he did, and great awareness right there by Hunter Parsons. But right now, it looks like Bradley gonna be able to beat this pace truck off pit road, so may have not have had that major of damage. So looks like Chris Cinnamond's still gonna have the lead right here. Jose Luis Rivera will be on that outside. Pace lights are still on the pace truck. So very unfortunate to see that right there with Keith Bradley. He's back there with his teammate Ashley Dodson as well. So these guys got a lot of work to do, the Mission 1 Esports team. A lot of work to do to try to claw their way back up to the front. But Chris Cinnamon, like I said, he leads with Jose Luis Rivera, Jacob Klinkart, Christopher Blanchard, Justin White. That is the top 5. Hunter Parsons, we mentioned him with that great awareness to be able to take what was given to him. Gonna run 6th. Phil Pappas, one of those guys really need to keep your eye on this 85 truck. Could really start turning some heads here tonight. Running 7th, Jeff Merrick, the rookie. He'll be in that 8th spot with Adam Newton 9th and Dana Shepard 10th. Pace lights are out on the pace truck, so getting that 1 to go signal right here, and get down to crunch time right here, folks. Coming down, be 50 laps to go when they take the green flag here tonight at the C.O.P.S Truck Series ServPro 150 here at the Milwaukee Mile. Cannot wait to get this bad boy going. We've seen a lot of great hard racing, seen a lot of dive bombs, seen a lot of aggressive driving as well. But we will see how all this pans out as pace truck getting ready to come off a turn number 4. Jose Luis Rivera still up top, getting ready, trying to time this restart the best that he possibly can. As you see the pace truck, he pulls in. Cinnamon waits. Green flag is in the air. He is on the gas. Great jump by Chris Cinnamon. He's going to jump straight up, now jump right back down to the middle. As Jose Luis Rivera going to be in a side-by-side battle with Jacob Klinkart. As here comes Blanchard.
Blanchard looks. Number 2. You see that big hornet's nest coming off of corner number 2 right there. Jose Luis Rivera here in that 20 machine would like nothing more than lock in that win. But you see right there, that is a hornet's nest. We are 3 wide down the front stretch here at Milwaukee Mile.
Phil Pappas down all the way on the bottom of the racetrack. Justin White stuck in the middle. Now Justin White's going to get stuck in the middle once again. Hunter Parsons up top. Phil Pappas down on the bottom. Pappas is going to clear Justin White. Parsons cleared both of them. Merrick has to fall back in line behind him. Now he's going to jump to the bottom, see if he can try to get up under Justin White. Everybody making moves right here, knowing, like I said, Will, this is crunch time. The only new set goes straight into the fence. The Joker into the inside wall, and we got another caution on the Speedway.
Oh my goodness, we saw that live here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. We saw everything that was starting to just bubble to the surface there, Jake. We were 3 wide. We're very tight here at the Milwaukee Mile, and unfortunately for the Joker, and we'll try to see if there's any damage. There is a little bit of left side damage to that truck. And the 16 machine of Joey Doucette came very close to winning the championship last year. Actually missed out on that championship 6 by 1 single point. Our regular season champion now going to have a rough go at the Milwaukee Mile. Let's see if he can keep that 16 on the track.
And basically same thing that we have seen here the past couple of times. The Joker, Joey Doucette. We know we call him the Joker is for the purple truck that he is running, but I guarantee you this right now, he is not laughing at this particular point in time. Just snaps loose off of turn number 4, right in straight into the inside wall with the left front of the truck. So he's going to have to jump down and get that truck fixed, get himself lined up, try to get back out there and see if he can salvage something here for this for the rest of this race.
Yeah, and that's so tough right there. With there was no contact made. You know, you're trying to control the truck on your own, trying to get it out of the corner, and that's just a tough aspect right there. But folks, while we're under this caution here on the ServPro 150, I do want to announce something really cool here happening at Nazareth. We have a King of Daytona race coming up on August the 24th. We're going to have a week 1 qualifier, $5 entry fee into that race. Payout is based on entries. Then we're going to have a week number 2 with a dual race on August 31st, 2023. Week number 3 will be dual race number 2, September 7th. And that's all culminating to September 14th, the Nazareth 250, the $20 entry fee, payout based on entries. And I gotta say, the payouts based on these regular season races, and mind you, not the money races, are very large. So I can just imagine what it's gonna be for the Daytona King of Daytona race on September 14th. Folks, if you haven't already, please follow us on Facebook, X as they call it now, YouTube, to stay up to date with all the announcements that are made regarding the King of Daytona coming up on September 14th.
And that will be an absolute great show. And Will, to be honest with you, I have already put my name in the hat on that, so I will be partaking in that event for the qualifier all the way through to the end for the King of Daytona. So Will, it's no surprise to everybody, and I'm sure everybody's got it figured out. But next season for the Monday Night Series, I will be driving for the Mission 1 esports team for Brady LaBeouf's team on Monday nights, and got a Mission 1 esports entry ready to rock and roll for that King of Daytona. So trying to get warmed up, I guess you could say, a little bit for next season, and it's going to be a good show, and hopefully I can make it through the big one. That's the big play, I guess you could say. Is just to try to finish that race. That's the main thing.
Absolutely, and we're excited to see you on Monday nights. We just ran a recruitment race for our Wednesday night series coming down the pipeline as well. Folks, you can't forget about the Hot Lap podcast hosted by Tyler Dittmer, who's our points leader in the Monday night series with the boss, Brady LaBeouf. They talk about all things Nazareth, all things NASCAR as well. Go check them out. So, folks, if you haven't already, go ahead and like this YouTube video, like the Facebook live stream. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on both Facebook and YouTube. Stay up to date with everything we got going on. Well, we're going to have races almost every single day of the week, as well as a podcast on Thursday. But here we go, folks. We're going to get the drop of the green flag once again. It will be Chris Cinnamon, Jose Luis Rivera, Jacob Klinkart, Chris Blanchard, Phil Pappas, Hunter Parsons, Justin White, Jeff Merrick, Adam Newton, and Stephen Thomas that will take the drop of the green flag here in the ServPro 150 as they're rumbling to that flag stand. Chris Cinnamon with another great restart as he takes the field in the corner number 1.
Jose Luis Rivera almost got shoved on that restart, but now he's going to be able to jump down and get clear, jump right in behind Chris Cinnamon. Blanchard going to be in a side-by-side battle with Klinkart. No, Klinkart will actually clear him. Now Parsons is going to be side-by-side with Blanchard. Watch out, here comes Phil Pappas. Everybody ganging up, I guess you could say, on Christopher Blanchard. Blanchard stuck up on that top side.
Christopher Blanchard there is not being allowed to get down to the low side, just like in Forrest Gump. They say this seat is taken, and right now he feels like Forrest on that school bus. As we look at Jacob Klinkhardt in that 5, he definitely has some racing stripes here at the Milwaukee Mile, but he's doing a great job maintaining right now inside that podium spot as we go into 3 and 4.
He's looking to try to get even more, if possible, trying to get to the back bumper of Jose Luis Rivera. Maybe try to force him on just a little bit. Maybe try to get him out. Whoa, we got Hunter Parsons back there. Almost gets spun. Wow, big time hard racing. These guys know coming to 40 laps to go. These guys right here are really pushing the envelope, Will.
Yeah, and you have a mix of guys there at the top of the grid. That last headed down pit road, lap 76. Then you have Hunter Parsons in that 25, Phil Pappas that are part of that group that headed down on lap 92. So we're looking at almost a 20-lap difference between this equipment. So curious to see how this plays out as Hunter Parsons in that 25 is trying to keep that stallion on the racetrack. Looks like he has a lot of speed on those Goodyear Eagles.
Absolutely, and he is rolling, trying to see if he can find a way to try to get up there to Chris Cinnamon, like you said, doing the old Limp Bizkit style of rolling. They are rolling around here right now as Jose Luis Rivera trying to see if he can find a way to get to Klinkhardt. Parsons trying to get to him. Now here comes Phil Pappas. Looks like he's going to take a shot for fourth.
Now, as a driver point of view, you know Chris Cinnamon, you know Jacob Klinkhardt has older equipment. We look at Phil Pappas now to the inside. Hunter Parsons in that 25. Looks like he'll go up to that podium spot. You know, as a driver at the top of the grid, are you hoping for a caution? You know, I definitely not the guys like Phil Pappas, Hunter Parsons, but in the likes of Jacob Klinkhardt and Chris Cinnamon, are you just hoping for that late race caution to make sure you get those tires and make sure you don't lose any positions here on this run?
Well, I mean, it really depends because some guys actually run better on old stuff and some guys run better on new stuff. And right now, you know, it looks like, you know, Klinkhardt's able to hold everybody off pretty good on those old tires. But, you know, obviously, you know, you want to have the freshest rubber out there on the racetrack, you know, because more or better tires is going to give you better grip. But it's like I said, Klinkhardt may like the older style of tires. He may not be as good when it comes to the newer tires. He may be better when it comes to the older tires. So I mean, you're seeing it. Well, it really depends. Really, I mean, it depends on the driver. It depends on what they like. It depends on if they like the older set of tires or if they like the newer set of tires. And right now, Klinkhardt looks like he's doing pretty good. But to be honest with you, it looks like he's holding Phil Pappas up because Phil Pappas really wants this second spot as he's going to drive it all the way to the inside, gets to the door. Now, here comes Phil Pappas. Watch out for this 85 truck. He is coming, and he wants a shot at Chris Cinnamon for this lead.
And he's bringing a rocket with him with the 60 of Jeff Merrick. They're going after Mr. Canada himself, Chris Cinnamon. We saw the Canadian Brigade between Chris Cinnamon and Hamilton there at the top of the grid for a little while. Now it's just a single sole Canadian leading the way here on lap 116. He does not want to check his rear view mirror though because Phil Pappas is right there, as well as Jeff Merrick in that 60. They might go a little BOGO action. No, Jeff Merrick looks at the outside. He swings that truck back behind Phil Pappas, the 85, as we're into 3 and 4. These guys know it is crunch time. If they can get out to the lead, they might have a chance at taking that checkered flag. As we look at another battle right there, that's Justin White and Justin Lumpkin going at it.
Absolutely, and Lumpkin and White really battling it out hard. Pappas was really getting close to Cinnamon, but a caution comes on the Speedway. There's Christopher Blanchard. Looks like he got turned around, got sent into the fence. So Blanchard not really in the position that he wanted to be in. Wow, big time hard hit right there. As wow, looked like Thomas actually just came down, chopped his nose, and then Blanchard just really didn't have anywhere else to go.
Yeah, I'm curious to see because there's the 13 of Michael McKinnon on the top side of the racetrack. I'm curious to see if there was anything between the 23 and the 13 that may have sent both those trucks up the racetrack. As you see, we're going to ride on board here as we watch the 9. The 23 is going to come down the racetrack there. There's Stephen Thomas in that 23. He's going to come down Yeah, just the slightest of contact there made. Nothing too crazy from. It's just hard to tell right there, Jake.
Actually, well, this actually all started coming off of turn number 2, actually. Blanchard was running right on the bottom. He gets a little bit loose. Here comes Stephen Thomas, and you're going to see it right here on the replay. Right here, they go. Is Blanchard. He's right on the bottom of the racetrack. Thomas tries to make a shot on the top, and he just
Oof.
comes down. Wow. I mean, I'm not sure if, Thomas just came straight down right there, or if Blanchard missed well, actually, that right there, to me, Will, that looked like a little bit of retaliation from what Blanchard was trying to do. Because to me, it looked like Thomas came down and got into his door, knocked him sideways. And then right here's where Blanchard I guess he just had enough of it, gassed it straight up and tried to get to him. And then when he knew he couldn't get to him, he just hit the brakes and spun himself out.
Yeah, if we could ride on board with the 9 machine there down the backstretch, we'll see what a nerve-wracking situation this can be coming off the corner. We'll jump on board right here. So you see him, he's by himself. Now, all of a sudden, he's going to feel pressure to his left, feel pressure to his right, and all of a sudden, he's in an ice cream sandwich there. Feels contact from the 23 of Stephen Thomas. And, from that replay, it looks like the 9 was just trying to recover from the little bit of impact he had with the 23. Gosh, that's just so hard, especially when you go 3 wide here, and it's just that's tough right there.
Yeah, very, very tough for that right there. I mean, it's close quarters racing, it's short track racing. Will, I've said that before. It's just the hard racing. It's just the nature of the C.O.P.S Truck Series, the hard racing that we love to see, and the races that we love to call, and even for me to get into it and race in it within the NASRA organization. I mean, this is the stuff that we love to see right here. It's just that hard racing, and sometimes contact happens, and sometimes drivers get spun out, and is what it is.
Absolutely. We did have some takers down pit road. Jacob Klinkart went down. Jose Luis Rivera. Chris Cinnamon went down. Philip Pappas. Hunter Parsons. Jeff Merrick. Justin White. Ashley Dotson. Stephen Thomas. So a lot of players in this field headed down pit road, except for the guys leading the way right now. Adam Newton, Justin Lumpkin, Dana Shepard, Zach Hartwig, Ed Osborne is now up there, and Jeff Sickles is now inside the top 10. Some big movers here. My hat's off to Dana Shepard in that 45, though. He last time headed down pit road lap 104, so he can go a little while here on this run. He's up 22 spots from the drop of the green flag, and he's been involved in a couple of those cautions here tonight. And I always like to say, quote that 90s song, you get knocked down, you get up again. The 45 is the epitome of that here tonight. He is inside the top 3 after everything that's gone on.
I'll actually quote one better from that old song of the Pinball Wizard. That's exactly what Dana Shepard has looked like. Has basically been a pinball bouncing around all over the place with getting caught up in some of the cautions that he has had. But it looks like to me like he's actually able, so far, if everything comes out right, he may end up getting a high score from what he was actually thinking he was going to get after all of these cautions. Like you said, 25th all the way up to that 3rd spot. But here we go. Ace truck looks like it's fixing to pull off Adam Newton on that front row with Justin Lumpkin. Green flag is in the air. Newton gets a great jump on that outside lane. He's going to leave Lumpkin in the dust. Shepard going to see if he can try to fight back and try to hold off for 3rd. As here comes Zach Hartwig out of nowhere up to the 4th spot.
Oh no! As Jose Luis Rivera gets loose coming off of corner number 2, Raul Meza will be involved as well. We saw that live here in the NASRA 360 Racing Network. And boy, Jake, we've seen it a few times here tonight. You get 3 wide here at the Milwaukee Mile with everything you have to contend with. Doesn't look like there was much damage. It looks like the 20 was already loose there on the apex of the corner. And you got 3 wide beside you, you got 3 wide behind you, and you get to getting loose there on the corner. We'll watch it here. I think the 20 just gets loose by himself, and he's already in a 3 wide sandwich. There's nowhere to go there on the corner.
No, absolutely nowhere for him to go. I mean, he's just kind of just stuck there. And then he just, like I said earlier, probably kept it in that 3rd gear.
Oof.
right there, Will, and that's probably what got that RPM jumped up, got him spun around. Some of these other guys that got caught up in this, Raul Meza and the Animal, Keith Bradley, our stage 1 and stage 2 winner, they also got involved in this, and you're going to see exactly what happens to Meza, because what happened to Meza happened to Bradley exactly. So both of these drivers getting caught up in this as well. You're going to see Meza right here. He ducks and dodges this right here. Comes off of turn number 2. And folks, I'm going to tell you right now, if you have flashbacks of whiplash, you might not want to see this right here. As all this happens right here, nowhere to go.
Ooh.
Bam! Straight into the tire barrier, and then right behind him, Bradley does the same exact thing, runs straight into that same exact spot. Well, he's already disconnected, but very unfortunate for both of those drivers. Innocent bystanders didn't have anywhere to go.
I'm gonna ride on board with the Animal, the 29 machine of Keith Bradley, and see right there what happens to him. He hits the same tires there, Jake. The same marker claims both the Animal and Raul Meza in that ServPro machine, and boy, we're in for one heck of a finish here tonight. We're going to step aside for just a short break. We'll be right back with the conclusion of the ServPro 150 here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Welcome back to the ServPro 150 here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. I am William Tiller, joined by Jake Reeves. Adam Flieger is a wonderful producer here, providing all the sights and sounds of this race. We just saw the caution flag fly once again. It claimed our Stage 1, Stage 2 winner, Keith Bradley, as well as Raul Meza there. And Jake, we're in for one heck of a finish with about 25 laps to go here. We're looking for our 4th different winner of the season. I feel like we're going to get it as the DSR electric machine of Adam Newton is leading this grid.
Absolutely, and the green flag is in the air, and they are on the gas as Newton gets a huge jump on the field. And a big-time jump right now with Newton getting away from Lumpkin as they go into turn number 2. Lumpkin trying to see if he can try to close in the best that he possibly can, but Newton gets a huge jump on the field.
There goes Phil Pappas to the inside of the 45. A Dana Shepard. Huge wreck there on 3 and 4. Oh my goodness. Get those ServPro trucks ready here tonight. We have a big mess to clean up there on the corner.
Absolutely big implications, I guess you could say, for this race. All of it started right around the Jacob Klinkhardt area. I mean, wow. I mean, everybody just trying to fight their way through. 22 dumps it in there, gets into Klinkhardt. Klinkhardt jumps straight up the racetrack. Everybody trying to fight their way through it. Wow, I mean, just hard hits. Brandon Bullock, one of those drivers that gets a hard hit as well, involved in this. Wow, I mean, big hits right there, and some of these guys might be out of this race.
And you see the 25 machine right there looks to be involved. That's Hunter Parsons. You see Stephen Thomas on the low side. Jacob Klinkart was holding on to that damaged truck here tonight. More contact there on the top side, and we've seen it here now. We're going to see it probably a little bit more with the rest of this race, and things just get very tight here at the Milwaukee Mile. And with virtually no banking, you have to hold your line. If you get just the slightest bit loose, you see Brandon Bullock there is also going to be involved. Jess Sickles in that 22 right there on your screen. And Jake, you've touched on it a few times here tonight. This is a very precise racetrack for how flat and how ordinary it may seem.
Absolutely, and these guys are going to have to hold their lines the best that they can, but here's the thing. It's coming down to crunch time right here, coming to 20 laps to go. Nobody's really going to give an inch, if you will. I mean, nobody going to give an inch. Everybody, racing is give and take sport. Well, gives out the door. That happened probably first stage. Probably even a little bit in the second stage. You're right here, 20 laps to go. It's all take. Give, no, it's not there. Everybody's going to take every little bit that they possibly can. And if they got to use somebody up, so be it. It's a short track. It is what it is. They're going to do what they got to do to try to help themselves get forward. Obviously, they don't want to wreck anybody like what just happened. But, you know, it is what it is. It's short track racing, and you know, you're gonna get. I mean, everybody's gonna be taking at this point, so I would not be surprised. That right there, I can see us having a couple more cautions, honestly, because everybody is in that taking mode right now.
Yeah, it gets very tight. You know, you can go 3 wide, sometimes 4 wide on the front stretch, back stretch here at the Milwaukee Mile. But once you get into those corners, it starts to funnel. You know, I talked to Brady while he joined us here. Again, thank you for the boss man joining us here early on in this broadcast. Once you funnel into those corners, 3 wide, 4 wide, it almost reminds me of the first corner at the Charlotte Roval, Jake, how everybody has to squeeze together to make that turn. That's almost what we're seeing here tonight.
Absolutely, and it honestly looks like not only the Roval, but even the Indianapolis Road Course that they're going to be racing at, the big boys, the actual NASCAR Cup Series and Xfinity Series, what they will be running tomorrow and Sunday. That first turn, it's a very, very tight corner, and that's exactly what it looks like with these drivers. But like I said, it doesn't matter how tight this corner is. Everybody is going to take every little bit that they can, because like I said, they know 20 to go, it'll be 19 to go when they take the green. Every spot matters, every point matters here in the C.O.P.S Truck Series.
As you're seeing some trucks having a bit of power issues. Chris Cinnamon in that 3. You saw Taylor Peacock in the 81. Looks like Chris Cinnamon's having some issues getting that thing moving down the backstretch here as we're still under caution. Looks like he's going to get that thing back powered up as we're into 3 and 4. The pace truck will pull off. The lights are off. We are not waiting, as it looks like the DSR electric machine, who is electric here tonight, will take us into corner number 1. He'll have Justin Lumpkin right behind him as we cruise into the corner.
Lumpkin's going to fall right in line with Adam Newton, take the battle right behind them. Dana Shepard and Phil Pappas, both of them battling very, very hard for that 3rd spot. Jeff Merrick right behind them, looking like they're trying to break away. 5 trucks trying to break away from the rest of the field. But up front, still Adam Newton, as Lumpkin still trying to get to him. And we've seen Phil Pappas make some serious headway on some of these restarts. He's trying to make it work again, all the way up to the 3rd spot, seeing if he can get to Justin Lumpkin.
As we look back the field a little bit there, shout out to the creator of the Cha-Cha slide. May he rest in peace, because it looks like Phil Pappas is sliding to the right, sliding to the left, trying to get that 2nd spot into 3 and 4. Justin Lumpkin's doing a great job holding down that spot, but you got to think, folks, Phil Pappas is on brand new Goodyear Eagles. Oh my goodness, another almost pile up off of corner number 4. This race sure is getting dicey, and I think we picked the perfect race sponsor in the ServPro here tonight, because there has been a lot of cleanups as Phil Pappas goes to the inside of the 18 down the backstretch. Looks like Phil Pappas will take that 2nd spot into 3 and 4.
And what a race this would be for Phil Pappas, locking himself in if he can get to Adam Newton and take the lead of this race and win it. what a race it would be. Lock himself straight into the playoffs. Wouldn't have to worry about it through the regular season. Like you said, Will, just go ahead and just plan accordingly for those playoffs and just fill that bucket up full of playoff points later on in the season. Not even have to worry about it. Just know he's going to be in the playoffs. Well, I'm telling you right now, he is running down our leader, Adam Newton, right up on his tailgate. Phil Pappas trying to see if he can take the lead coming off the forward.
Right on that tailgate, coming off a corner number 4. Going to make it 15 laps to go here in the ServPro 150 as the 85 thought about a move to the inside there into 1 and 2. And you see what happens when that tire wear starts to set in on those Goodyear Eagles. Adam Newton is trying to do everything he can to put those Goodyear Eagles on that white line to keep the 85 at bay. Will he have enough here in 3 and 4? It's very, very tight there, Jake, as we come off a corner number 4. This battle rages down the front stretch.
Phil Pappas has dove it in. Numerous corners, dove it into 1, dove it into 3. Newton jumps down, keeps blocking him, but Pappas still sending it every single time, literally pulling the Intimidator. Shout out to the legend Dale Earnhardt of putting the Intimidator on Adam Newton. Right now, 2-horse race as Phil Pappas looks like he's going to take a shot to the inside. Newton jumps down and blocks that advance. Newton still leads here at Milwaukee.
The BP Racing for Autism entry, Phil Pappas, has no top 10s, no top 5s this far in this season. What a way to put a 1 in each one of those columns to get your first victory of the year, your first top 5, your first top 10 of the year as well. He's got some work to do, though. He is still right on the back bumper of the 82 of Adam Newton. He's up 17 spots from the drop of the green flag. As we check out Dana Shepard, he's up 19 spots from the drop of the green flag, right behind Stephen Thomas, who's up 18 spots from the drop of the green flag. So all these drivers stayed in the fight here tonight, and with 12 laps to go, it looks like we'll have our 4th different winner of the season.
Absolutely, and Phil Pappas has gotten around Adam Newton. The previous lap before, Pappas had him on the inside. Newton jumped all the way down, literally blocked him all the way down to the grass. But then Newton overdrove the corner. Pappas was able to get by him. So Pappas takes the lead. Newton straight up his tailgate. Both of these guys racing their hearts out. Now Pappas going to try to block him all the way down to the white line, basically doing Newton like Newton did to him. Battling door to door, excuse me, folks, battling door to door. These guys fighting their hearts out, coming to 10 laps to go.
And you see Phil Pappas takes this into 3 and 4. The 85 withstood the barrage of Adam Newton in that 82. Now Adam Newton has to look in his rearview mirror as Justin Lumpkins right there. Ashley Dotson racing out of Australia is in that 4th spot. And folks, I got to remind you though, Adam Newton is on older equipment. So is Justin Lumpkin in that 18. So if Phil Pappas can separate here coming off of corner number 2, he might all but lock in that 1 spot all across the board. 1 on the grid, 1 win on the season, 1 top 5, 1 top 10. He's going to have just about 9 laps to go here in the ServPro 150.
And he is pulling away, Will, from Adam Newton. Lumpkin back here as you're riding on board with Lumpkin. Lumpkin still trying to fight his way, see if he can get to Adam Newton. Check out Ashley Dodson right behind these guys, trying to see if he can muster up a little bit of Australian magic, see if he can get around both of these guys and maybe have something for Phil Pappas later on in this race. But right now, Pappas really starting to pull away from Adam Newton, as Newton is just holding on for every little bit that he's got.
And you see it now riding on board the 85 of Phil Pappas, how that lead is now extending as he comes off of corner number 2 down the backstretch. He can check out the battles behind him because they were nowhere in sight into 3 and 4 here at the oldest racetrack here in NASCAR, built in the 1800s. Phil Pappas will take us off of corner number 4. He's going to make it 7 laps to go here in the ServPro 150.
Ashley Dodson has found his way around Justin Lumpkin, so move Ashley Dodson all the way up to 3rd now. He's starting to close into the back bumper of Adam Newton, but he's going to have to do it real quick if he wants to have a shot at Phil Pappas. He's going to have to dispose of Adam Newton very, very quickly to have even the slightest bit of a shot against Pappas, because Pappas is throwing down some heater laps right now. Dodson still trying to figure out a way to try to get around Newton. Check out Stephen Thomas. Stephen Thomas, don't count him out. He's right behind Ashley Dodson as they go into turn 1.
6 laps to go here in the ServPro 150 on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. We're watching a battle for second there. We'll jump back up to the top of the grid. Phil Pappas in the 85 machine's looking for his first win of the season. What a way to do it here at the Milwaukee Mile. Has been very fast here tonight. Has the fastest lap, a 30.0 here in this race. Will come off of corner number 4. He can check his rear view because they are battling it out for the podium. He has nobody to battle it out for the win as he takes us into 1 and 2.
Pappas still got a very healthy lead, over a second over the battle between Newton, Dodson, and Stephen Thomas. Dodson still trying to figure out a way around Adam Newton, but while all of this is going on, Newton still trying to hold him off, still trying to hold on to second the best that he can. Dodson tries to make one-ditch effort to try to get to him. Thomas right behind him as Pappas still starting to pull away from the rest of the field. Actually opens up the gap just a little bit. Actually, no, he loses a tenth. So these guys might start reeling him in. Thomas tries to get the Dodson going into 1.
Yeah, and for Adam Newton in that DSR electric machine, he's doing a great job by holding off this hard charge behind him. But what that allows is Phil Pappas to just check back and see that they're battling it out for podiums. He's battling out for the win. Very fast cars behind Adam Newton there and Ashley Dodson, Stephen Thomas. My hat goes off to Adam Newton there in that 82 who is on older equipment, still holding it down here with 3 laps to go. Throw up those threes. Rest in peace to Dale Earnhardt because Phil Pappas just has 3 more miles to go here at the Milwaukee Mile.
Newton gets seriously loose off of turn number 2. That might open the door for Ashley Dodson. Lap truck is in the area. Will not be a factor. Thomas makes a serious shot straight into 3. Sends Ashley Dodson straight around, and now we're going to have a caution.
Oh my goodness, here in the ServPro 150, does that Yahtzee reshuffle everything here tonight? This was a battle to stay inside the podium. We see Adam Newton, Ashley Dodson, Stephen Thomas. We've been calling their names out here the past couple laps. And oh my goodness, does he just get bowled just right into the corner there from the 23 of Stephen Thomas. And it looks like that's just hard to call right there, Jake. It just looks like there was just rear end contact there from the 23 of Stephen Thomas and the back end of Ashley Dodson, the 88. But it's hard to see from that angle if maybe the 88 started to slide, if the 23 just came in a little bit too hot. That's just hard to call there here at the Milwaukee Mile.
Well, I mean, Dodson tried to make a move on Newton going into turn number 3, went all the way down to the white line. Thomas actually ran his own line, as you're going to see right there. Dodson goes all the way down to the bottom, and then they have to stack up. Thomas looks like he actually ran a normal line, honestly, and then just looked like, I mean, honestly, folks, you know, some people may look at that and go, wow, that looked very intentional. I mean, that could go either way. Honestly, I don't think Stephen Thomas done that intentionally because obviously he's going to get a EOL and get sent to the back. So why would he want to do it intentionally and screw himself out of a good finish? But you know, I think it had a lot to do with Dodson going down to the bottom, trying to make that pass on Newton. Newton jumped down the block. Dodson tried to jump back up and try to make his entry into turn number 3. And, you know, Thomas just come barreling in there, running his line, running a normal line, gets into the back of Dodson and spins him out.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, Jake. I mean, it seems like every race we call here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network either comes down to green-white checkered, it comes down to pitch strategy, it comes down to all different factors here. Here tonight, Phil Pappas still holds the lead. You were talking there how his lead was starting to diminish there as that run played out. Now we're going to have a restart, Kears, to see if he can still hold that down. And man, as we're under caution, I do once again want to thank our title sponsor, the Concerns of Police Survivors, for being our Friday night sponsor here tonight. We also want to shout out Flieger Farm Paint Shop. Folks, if you didn't hear that intro here at the beginning, he is offering a free first-time paint scheme. I don't think you can find that anywhere else in the iRacing market, that someone will create a paint for free just for you to work with them. We invite you to go check out Adam at Flieger Farm Paints on Facebook today. He is our Hard Luck Award winner sponsor. Also, shout out to our race sponsor, ServPro, again, restoring homes affected by fire, water, mold, or hurricanes like it never happened before. You can find them at servpro.com, and boy, we have needed them here tonight. Jake, there has been a lot of messes to pick up during this race.
Absolutely, and Will, this right here just actually kind of leads me in to what happened last week at New Hampshire with the crazy finish that we saw between Keith Bradley and Blake Lothian. That hard short track racing that we saw. Lothian said, that it was good short track racing, and I agree 100%. It was good hard short track racing. I believe we're probably going to see this here coming with this restart right here, with this green-white checkered. I mean, it's a playoff spot right here. I mean, it's a win. It's the playoff spot. I hate to be Phil Pappas right here because I got a feeling unless he can get away from these guys right here, I don't think he's going to win this thing because some of these guys might end up moving him for the win right here.
Well, here we go, folks. It'd be Phil Pappas, Adam Newton, Justin Lumpkin, Hunter Parsons, Zach Hartwick, Danish Shepard, Kyle Hess, Michael McKinnon, Jeff Merrick, Justin White, our top 10 as they rumble across the start-finish line into corner number 1. We are side by side in what is the tightest restart we've seen all race. Phil Pappas still holding it down there off of corner number 2. As we're down the backstretch, we see a battle for third raging on.
And Pappas is going to have to get away big time right here because
oh, no!
Get to him as we got a wreck in the back. That's going to lead to another caution on the Speedway. Jacob Klinkhardt involved. Taylor Peacock looks like he barely sneaks through every bit of that. Looks like Klinkhardt's going to get the meatball flag, but Phil Pappas is going to have to get another great restart if he wants to have a shot to try to win this thing.
And we'll get it 3 attempts here, green, white, checkered, and that's just seeming as though it's the same thing we've seen here all night. Michael McKinnon in that 13. He was our Hard Luck Award winner from last week. He was running pretty strong here in this race. A couple early cautions, a couple early accidents sent him down the grid a little bit. And you see, this is the same thing we've seen, the funneling coming off the corner, how tight it can get. And if you just get the little bit loose, as you saw the 13, he got loose by himself. A lot of these cautions we've seen here tonight are non-contact cautions where drivers get loose, but you're so tight, there's nowhere to go.
No, but there's absolutely nowhere to go, and you've seen it right there on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network right here. I mean, honestly, Will, it looked like maybe a little bit of net code might have got involved in that right there with him and Justin White. I mean, there was just a tick of net code. You can see a little bit of a gap right there. But, I mean, everybody's fighting for everything that they got. Like I said earlier, it's taking. No give anymore. It's all take. Everybody trying to get their spot, to get in the spot that they can get, to get the best possible finish that they can. And you know what? Some guys get some hurt feelings about it. And, they got to do what they got to do. But like I said, net code right there played a big factor into that caution right there.
Absolutely, and I know the competitiveness of both the drivers, Justin White, Michael McKinnon, they're both probably going to be a little fiery, a little heated about that until they see the replay and find out that it was I would like to call it an iRacing incident there where there was contact, but there was no contact, so to say, where iRacing deems that there was contact when there really wasn't on the racetrack. Just something that you have to deal with here on that iRacing simulator. But it looks like that was our first iRacing incident of the night, and I hate to see it here on a green-white checkered, especially for both of those guys who were just trying to crack inside the top 15, make lemonade out of a lemon race here, Jake. But we're going to try it once again. We get 2 more attempts at this green-white checkered here in the ServPro 150. And as you mentioned, Phil Pappas has to get another great restart if he wants to take that checkered flag.
And he had a pretty good restart right there, Will. But to be honest with you, Adam Newton was right straight at his door. Newton actually gave way and let Pappas go. to not be right smack dab on the top of the racetrack. He wanted to be able to get down on the bottom. So we'll see if Newton's got anything for him. See if he might have learned something a little bit from Pappas, and see if Pappas maybe learned something from Newton right there on that restart. I mean, these guys still trying to feel each other out, especially right here closing stages of this race. I mean, we've seen guys play, games, I guess you could say, on these restarts. But one guy, that I do want to mention, one guy back here in the number 12 entry, Zach Hartwick. Haven't talked a lot about him. Very, very quietly running inside the top 5, running 5th right now. He's going to be on that inside lane with the pace lights is out on the pace truck. So Zach Hartwick got a shot right here to get a very, very good finish right here. Because like I said, Will, we've seen crazy things happen right here. He might be in Victor Lane when this thing's all said and done. You never know.
And you look at the guys around him who've stayed in the fight as well. Dana Shepard right there, Jeff Merrick. You also have Hunter Parsons. Somehow the 25 is now back inside the top 5 after being involved in some of those cautions, but it will be Phil Pappas, Adam Newton, Justin Lumpkin, Hunter Parsons, Dana Shepard, Zach Hartwick, Kyle Hess, Jeff Merrick, Jose Luis Rivera, and Chris Cinnamon taking us to the drop of the green flag here. It's going to be our second attempt at a green, white checkered in the ServPro 150 as they rumble across that start-finish line. Phil Pappas with a great restart into corner number 1.
Big time restart right there for Phil Pappas, able to get away from this field. Lumpkin still trying to battle it out right here with Adam Newton for second. Lumpkin's going to clear Adam Newton. Now he's got one more truck to get to, and that's the leader, Phil Pappas. And Pappas looks like he is starting to try to pull away from this field.
Phil Pappas takes us off of corner number 4. Caution is out. Caution is out on the racetrack in our second attempt at a green, white, checkered. We're going to get one more try at this as we check out the on the pole instant replay. This is going to be a buzzer beater style race. And that's going to involve the guy you were just talking about, Jake, in that 12 machine.
You know what? Well, I'm not surprised at this point. I mean, commentators curse. I'm telling you, I get it big time right here. Zach Hartwick right there stuck up on the top. And you see Hunter Parsons right there. I mean, you could see the smoke in the tires. You could see he locked the brakes up going into the turn. He knew that he overdrove the turn big time and obviously locked the brakes up and big time. I mean, wow, Dana Shepard gets into it big time right there, drives straight into him.
I think that's my
very
fault there, Jake. Because you mentioned Zach Hartwick, I mentioned the 25 right there, and I also mentioned Dana Shepard. And it looks like all 3 of these trucks will be involved in this caution. You see the 25 Hunter Parsons right there. To 12
well, I
is
started it.
Zach Hartwick, and then Dana Shepard is going to be involved in this as well.
Yeah, but I started it. I mean, I was, I always been, one of those guys to always give a big time shout out to guys that make some great runs. And Zach Hartwick looked like he was making a great run. Dana Shepard, like I said earlier, is the pinball wizard. He's been bouncing around all over the place. And then Hunter Parsons, he's got caught up in some wrecks tonight, but still tried to fight it out to try to get up here. Unfortunately, all 3 of those drivers getting caught up in this accident. But, it's like I said, Will, I got that commentator curse. I'm amazed some of these guys is not in the driver chat praying that I don't call their name out on Friday nights anymore.
Absolutely, here in the ServPro 150, we're going to get one more attempt at this. We've already had 2 green-white checkers. Whatever happens here in the drop of the green flag, whether it's a yellow, whether it's a white flag, the race is officially over. So for me, Jake, if Phil Pappas can get a great restart here, just hold his line. I don't want to say he was going to hope for a caution flag to fly, but if he can keep that pace here for just a few more laps, just as he's done here on these last couple restarts, he could get his first win of the season. He could put that BP Racing for Autism machine in victory lane. And what a way to do it here. We've had back-to-back. This is triple overtime, if you want to call it, Jake.
Triple overtime, and Phil Pappas, to your comment, Will. Honestly, I don't think he's really worried whether or not the caution comes out or not. We've seen the speed that this 85 of Phil Pappas has got. He's just got to be able to nail it right here on this restart and get away. Now, with Justin Lumpkin going to be on to his outside, I'm assuming Pappas will take the inside because that's where he's been every single time. Lumpkin going to be on his top side. Now Newton's going to be behind Pappas. Now, folks, keep in mind, Pappas and Newton, they battled very, very hard together earlier. Newton put down a hard block on Pappas. Pappas got by Newton. Then Pappas put a hard block on Newton. So these guys right here, they raced very, very aggressively earlier on, with about 20 laps to go, give or take, in this stage. I would not be surprised to see some of this aggressive racing, especially with this, the last green-white checkered in this race. This thing's not over with yet. You got Lumpkin up here, then you got the rookie Jeff Merrick, and then my pick, Chris Cinnamon, all the way back up here to 5th. This race is not over with by a long shot, even though they still got 3 miles left to go. Anything is possible, especially with some of this aggressive driving that you're probably going to see here in the next 2 laps. The pace truck is off. Green flag is in the air. Pappas is going to get away, get a good jump. Lumpkin's going to jump down in front of Adam Newton. Newton's going to see if he can stuff it in on the inside. Merrick's still stuck up on that top side. Lumpkin going to see if he can battle back real hard, see if he can get to Pappas coming off of 2.
Pappas takes us into a 3 and 4. Our race leader now has had to go through double overtime. This is triple overtime. Justin Lumpkin in the 18s right there. Adam Newton as well. He will come off a corner number 4. He'll get the white flag into corner number 1.
Pappas gonna really get, all he's got to do go 1 mile and get this bad boy in. No problem. Pappas being very careful, as you can see, not as fast as he has been through 1 and 2. Going into turn 3 and 4, who is going to have anything for Phil Pappas as they come to the checkered flag?
Phil Pappas racing out of New Boston. The BP for Racing for Autism entry will get ones across the board. He'll have the fastest lap. He'll be the race winner, his first win of the season for Phil Pappas in the 85 machine, the winner of the ServPro 150.
Phil Pappas actually very surprisingly comes out of nowhere. I mean, Will, honestly, I don't think either one of us had this guy up front to win right here. This is kind of, I guess you could say, the a number that you wouldn't pick. I mean, I said it, back a couple weeks ago at Vegas. You pick a number, spin the wheel, and see where the ball lands. This right here, this number wasn't even nowhere near for a shot to try to win this thing. But Phil Pappas able to get it done here tonight at the Milwaukee Mile, lock himself in to the C.O.P.S Truck Series playoffs.
He locks himself in with his best finish of the season so far, a win. No top 5s, no top 10s heading into this race. As Jake just mentioned, a long shot, if you will, has a very cool paint scheme as he's burning it down here on the front stretch, and it just goes back to the teamwork. You look at the team of the BP Racing for Autism stable, you have Eric Zimmerman in that 94, Kyle Hess in that 86, and Sean Hamilton in that 96. All very fast, all top 15 trucks week in and week out. And actually, Brady LaBeouf picked that Kyle Hess machine at 86 to win. So I think Brady knew something about this stable before we headed into this race, that they were going to be fast. And it is a BP for Racing for Autism winner here tonight with Phil Pappas in the 85. And boy, you can tell he's happy about this win with a drift and a donut down the front stretch.
And burning it down, and I'll be honest with you, Will, I don't think, he's going to give up anytime soon. Maybe he will as he parks it right here at the start-finish line. Phil Pappas getting the win with Justin Lumpkin going to come home second. Adam Newton going to get third with the rookie Jeff Merrick getting fourth. Chris Cinnamon getting fifth. Dana Shepard getting 6th with Kyle Hess 7th, Justin White 8th, Jose Luis Rivera 9th, and Ed Osborne getting that 10th spot.
Yeah, in the 11th spot, we have Ashley Dotson out of Australia. 12th spot, Cody Knott did a great job of staying in the fight, got up to 12th. Chris Blanchard is going to finish 13th. Taylor Peacock, 14th. Hunter Parsons, 15th. Brendan Bullock, 16th. Michael McKinnon, 17th. Zach Hartwick, 18th. Jeff Sickles, 19th. Huck Whittington, 20th. Jacob Klinkart, 21st there. And we look at Stephen Thomas, 22nd. Keith Bradley, last week's winner. He's going to want to forget about this one. Finishes 23rd. Raul Meza, 24th. Joey Doucette, Adam Johnson, Eric Zimmerman, and Sean Hamilton will round out our grid here tonight. And what was a very, very exciting race here. And, you know, as we await our podium finishers here, Jake, I got to say, that was probably one of the most exciting races we've had all season. 3 overtime to crown a winner here in the ServPro 150.
Absolutely. I mean, it ranks up there, and but to be honest with you, Will, we still got a very long season left to go. You know, anything you know, can happen. You know, we can see some crazier finishes and some better finishes. But to be honest with you, this right here, you know, you had your comers, you had your goers, you had some strong ones at the start. With the animal Keith Bradley winning the first 2 stages, and then getting knocked out by something out of his doing. Then you got some guys that just came out of absolutely nowhere, with the likes of C.O.P.S coming out here and winning here tonight. That's a statement, I guess you could say, for the BP or for the BP Racing for Autism team.
Yeah, speaking of our race winner, Philip Pappas, I'm catching up with him in victory lane. His best finish of the season comes here tonight with a win. Had no top 5s, no top 10s hitting into this race. Not only does he win the race, he also takes home the fastest lap of the race. Mr. Phil Pappas, how did you get that done here tonight at the Milwaukee Mile?
Oh man, I think the biggest thing, I was just able to roll the bottom really well, and if you could roll the bottom, exit the corner straight, that just seemed to be working really good all race, and I think that's what did it for me. I knew early on too. I was like, I got some speed here. This is going to work out.
We talked about you know what that means for the BP for racing for autism team. I could sort of see the team camaraderie kind of building here the last few weeks. Actually, Brady LaBeouf, the boss man, picked Kyle Hess, was his race pick here tonight. What can you talk about that team, and is this just a start of things to come for that team?
Oh, absolutely. I think so. I think this is definitely the start of things to come. I'm actually pretty new to the team, but Eric and Brady and all them guys, all my teammates, man, all great guys, and I'm super excited to see what we're going to do this season for sure.
Now that you've locked yourself into those playoff races here and the concerns of Police Survivors Truck Series, you know, what's the motivation the rest of the season? Are you going to try to get some more wins and we scrape out some more top 5s? Because here tonight, you did a great job of navigating up through the field. I believe you only lost out on the hard charger award by 1 spot. You survived all those caution flags. You survived 3 overtimes here at the end as well. How do you keep that momentum going?
Oh, I mean that's it, man. We just keep winning. I mean we're always here to win, man. That's just it. That's how we keep it going.
Keeping it moving, keeping it grooving. Speaking with Phil Pappas, the driver of the 85 machine, BP Racing for Autism entry wins the ServPro 150. And Phil, we look forward to the rest of the season, but here tonight you are the winner. Is there anybody you love to thank or any sponsors that put the 85 in victory lane?
Oh man, I just appreciate everybody making this happen. You know, talking with Eric, this is an awesome cause. I'm happy that I get to race for him, and for Brady too. Everybody making this league happen. All you guys up in the booth, man. This is an awesome league to be a part of. Super happy to be here.
Well, it's a huge congratulations from us up here in the broadcast booth. Cannot wait to see you next week in the 85. As you spoke about, this could be a little sign of things to come, and I feel like we haven't seen the last, maybe the 85 in victory lane or another truck out of that stable in victory lane as well. Congratulations on the win, Phil. Have a great weekend, and we appreciate you taking the time.
All right, I appreciate it. You guys have a good one.
Yes, sir. I believe now, Jake, you're catching up with our second place finisher, the driver of the number 18 machine, Justin Lumpkin.
Yep, and Justin Lumpkin here in the booth. Justin Lumpkin, this is Jake Reeves. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, Justin, I mean, I don't know. I mean, did you have anything right there for Phil right there at the end, or was you just holding on for dear life and just being happy to come home a second?
Man, I was probably about I was on 30 lap older tires than them because me and Adam stayed out on that on that one restart
Yeah.
to get track position. So we were definitely on older tires. I definitely caught some speed there at the end. Did I have anything for him? Maybe in a couple laps, but on the restarts, no, I didn't.
Well, and and me and Will, we talked about this a while ago. We was talking about, some drivers may want fresher tires as opposed to older tires. I mean, I've actually, raced here plenty of times, and I prefer to actually have a little bit older tires. I mean, would you agree, that it's I guess, to I guess agree with what my statement was with Will. Do you agree, that there is certain drivers that like older tires as opposed to having the fresher tires? Would you agree with that statement?
Oh yeah, I mean, everybody has a preference. I mean, you got you got tons of different abilities in here. People can will it and deal it on older tires. People love them fresh tires. Man, it can make a difference if you get the right feel for you and you get what you're comfortable with. Man, you can run anybody down.
Absolutely. And going into next week, or well, basically another short track, gonna be Iowa. How do you feel about your chances going into Iowa next week?
Man, I'm just gonna keep doing what I've been doing all year. Did it at New Hampshire, made a mistake at the end, and cost myself a possible top 5, top 10 there. But I'm just gonna take care of the truck and try to stay towards the front, get a few stage points, and try to be there at the end.
All right, with Justin Lumpkin coming home second tonight, give me a shout outs, bud.
Yeah, I want to shout out my mom and dad. They're always watching. They're some of my biggest fans. My girlfriend Kara, her boys Shepard and Hendricks. They also huge fans. I appreciate them watching that, and all the fans that are watching. Got to thank Millie's Restaurant and Catering, Darren's Nail Gun Repair, the guys here at Sick Wit at Motorsports Swim. Man, they're awesome. Jeff Sickles, Adam Newton, Stephen Thomas, Adam Newbert's. Ready for him to get back, man. We're praying for him and hoping he gets back soon. All the other guys, Blake wasn't here tonight, but and then you got Ladanco, Family Handyman, Jersey Smoke, A's Lawn and Landscape, and DSR Electric, man, all them guys. And then Nazra, Brady, you guys here at Nazra 360, man, and y'all do an awesome job. And also C.O.P.S, got to give C.O.P.S their shout out as well.
Absolutely. With Justin Lumpkin coming home second tonight, buddy. We'll see you in Iowa.
Thanks, sir.
That was Justin Lumpkin getting home or getting the second position tonight. Will, have you caught up with our third place finisher?
Yeah, I'm catching up with the DSR electric machine of Adam Newton, rocking a different paint scheme here tonight. Adam, you finished on the podium. We saw you fighting inside the top 5 most of the race here tonight. Take us through what was a very eventful race with 3 overtimes.
It was a it was a nail biter for a while. I kind of hated that I gave up the lead like I did. I felt like I still had something for him because I didn't shift until 10 laps to go in the race, and I had plenty of tire left and just couldn't make it work.
Still a good run for you here tonight, the 82 machine. I'd say this momentum's sort of been building behind the wheel of that 82. In your Friday night or Monday night series, you do very well. Here in the Monday night series, that you'd have to be one of those drivers that cracks through here in the next couple of weeks. What do you think's sort of keeping that 82 out of victory lane here the past couple of weeks, and when do you see you putting that 82 in victory lane?
I thought I had a shot tonight. Listened to the podcast last night and wanted to prove Tyler Dittman wrong. And I almost did it, but the biggest thing in this league and these tracks is just if you get a clean shot, you got a shot to win the race. There's too many cautions. You got to have clean air. And if you get the luck, you got a chance of winning it.
Absolutely, and with a podium finish, you keep that momentum sort of riding here on the Friday night series. We're looking forward in the season. You're looking at Iowa, Kansas, and then the Daytona Road Course heading up. What do you think your chances are here in the next couple weeks?
According to the guys on the podcast, doesn't sound too good, but I think Tyler needs to do some research on my stats. I love Iowa. I love Kansas. I just got a raw break. That was one of the trucks I got wrecked in Monday night. Never got to showcase what I had and came back for a top 10 finish with a broke truck. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I love Daytona. I'm not super fast there, but it's all about consistency at that road course.
Folks, it looks like the driver of the 82 machine, DSR electric machine, is electrified by some comments made in our Hot Lap podcast. The field better watch out. He gets third here tonight. He keeps that energy rolling here the next couple weeks. I'm sure we'll see that 82 in victory lane here soon. But Adam, before we let you go, my man, is there anybody you wanted to shout out or anybody you wanted to thank for tonight's podium finish?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my swim teammates, Jeff, Steven, Justin. We miss Newbert. Blake's not here tonight. All the guys on, even the Monday night team too. Millie's Landing, A's Lawn and Landscaping, Daryl's Nail Gun Repair, Landco, First Pacific Funding, Roofco, Family Handyman, Millie's Restaurant and Catering, Millie's North, and especially Dan at DSR for Electric for being my sponsor on both nights. Thank you, man. I'm trying to do you great, man.
Absolutely, Adam. We appreciate you taking the time with us here tonight. A third place finish, the Milwaukee Mile, but from the sounds of it, I don't think this will be the last podium finish here this season. Adam, we appreciate your time and have a great weekend, my man.
Y'all too.
That was the driver of the 82 machine, Adam Newton and Jake, and what was a very, very fun race. Of course, you saw the animal Keith Bradley win both those stages, but it's I like to call it a long shot because as we just spoke about, the BP Racing for Autism team, I think, has been working towards this goal here for the past couple of weeks, but Phil Pappas gets to win the 85.
Absolutely, and that's big, big, big for that race team. I mean, we've seen these guys have some big strides, throughout. Obviously, this season very, very, I guess you could say, short because we haven't ran that many races. So very, very early in this season, but these guys have really put on, a lot of great racing and put together some great finishes. And to see Phil Pappas with a new organization, if you will, come out here and grab the win here tonight at the Milwaukee Mile. That right there, sky's the limit for that 85 truck, and sky's the limit for that team to know that, hey, we got a guy that's on this team that's already got us a win as far as team wise. Now we've got to go out there. Now we've got to try and get out there and get a hold of a win ourselves. And that's just going to push that team even better. So congratulations to Phil Pappas and the BP Racing for Autism team. Big, big time deal for them tonight. And it's like you said, Will, I would not be surprised to see these guys get up there and get a couple wins for the rest of the team.
Yeah, as they like to say, those are some dogs on that team. They're hungry for more wins. They get their first win here tonight with Phil Pappas in the 85, taking home the ServPro 150. Before we leave here tonight, we do want to thank our sponsors once again, of course, Concerns of Police Survivors for being our Friday night sponsor here. Go check them out at concernsofpolicesurvivors.org and all the wonderful things they do. We also want to thank our Hard Luck Award sponsor, Flieger Farm Paint Shop, who's offering a free paint scheme for first-time customers. Go check them out at Flieger Farm Paints on Facebook and ask about your free paint scheme. Also, our race sponsor here tonight, ServPro, restoring homes affected by fire, water, mold, or hurricanes. Don't stress about the mess. Contact ServPro today at servpro.com. ServPro.com. We also want to like to invite you to our Monday night series in the SimRacerHub.com truck series. Again, that's at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can't make that one, be sure to like and follow our Facebook and X pages to stay up to date about our Wednesday night series that's coming up. We also have our Hot Lap podcast on Thursday nights, and right back here at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for more of the C.O.P.S truck series here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. I want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight in the ServPro 150 presented by Nazra. Congratulations once again to Phil Pappas and that BP Racing for Autism entry. Next week we head to the cornfields of Iowa in week number 5. We've had 4 different winners so far. Let's see if we can make it a 5th next week. For myself, William Tiller, Mr. Jake Reeves, the boss man, Brady LaBeouf for joining us momentarily, and Adam Flieger, the man providing all those wonderful sights and sounds here tonight. We want to thank you for joining us here. We want to invite you next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for more exciting iRacing action. This has been a Nazareth 360 Racing production. Have a great night, everybody, and a safe weekend.